We're live. Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to the Eternal Dawn. I am your captain and host today, Mr. Straw Hat Frankie. No, Straw Hat Lucas, of course. I am joined today by my lovely, lovely crew. We got the vice captain and frontline combatant, Mr. NoChillDill. Mr. NoChillDill, how we doing today?
Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy NoChillDill. Haha, had to fake him out today. Here back again with another content video style / stream where we're gonna be discussing some of the recent One Piece news.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next up, we have the first mate of the Eternal Dawn and historian, Mr. Kube of the Red Sea. How are you doing today, Kube?
Hey man, listen, I'm excited because this is a great day to be the historian of the Eternal Dawn. You know, with the information just came out, it's great for the lore. I feel like it's Christmas Day at O'Hara.
Beautiful.
No, Nika Day at O'Hara. Sorry,
Nika Day. If they had a Nika Day festival, that would be wild. Next up, one of my close friends in the universe, brother of mine, Mr. vexyz, the lurking legend, the head cook of the Eternal Dawn. How you doing today, Mr. vexyz?
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy vexyz, the lurking legend. Y'all can just call me Vex. I'm hype. I'm excited. I live for these types of. I like the tertiary content. Obviously, I like the anime. I like the manga, and I like just talking about it in general. But I'm a fiend for the wiki, and I love like the SBSs and like the Q&As and stuff. So, and Vykthor cards. This is huge. It's a great day.
I agree. This is I do love me some of the tertiary content as well. The more we know about ODA'S world, the better. He's already a master of world building, so getting to see more of his world. Chef's kisses all around. So yeah, I think first up we are going to be talking about the 10 questions that Mr. Ichiro Oda answered for fans this week. And let me get those pulled up real quick. Chat, how we doing today? I see a lot of goats already in the chat, so always glad to see them around.
Yeah,
and the lovely navigator.
I was going to say, huge shout out to 3 Day Trip. We love you, 3 Day. We'd be lost without you.
Big
Major shout out to Knack Reacts. Congrats on reaching over 850. You could be at 1,000 in no time. Everyone go sub to Knack Reacts if you haven't already.
So
shout out to the one, the only Henry Cavill. Cavill, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's always an honor to have you in our stream, King of the Nerds. I love it.
Yeah, the Will of Dreams, SSJ, Cody, nothing but goats. Make sure you guys like these. Dexter, I saw you were in here first. Early bird getting a worm. But yeah, make sure you guys like the stream. Much love to all of y'all.
Big facts. All right, so let's get this started, guys. The first question is actually one of them that I found the most spicy. And the question is, when Luffy is using Gear 5, he pulls out things like goggles and baseball helmet from what looks like a Higoromo, feathered raiment. Please tell us how it works. And Oda's answer was very simple, very quick. It's the entrance to Nika's fantasy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, crazy implications.
It's like the doorway into the Toon Force, bro.
I'm gonna be real. This is probably the most, like, this is what I think we could speculate a full stream off of. Just this alone.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction. I thought you were going to be like, this is the most non-answer. I was like, no.
No, this is arguably the only actual answer in these. Nah, maybe that's a hot take, but like, this is the most important in my opinion. This is crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
This is insane. Like, the implications are, it's bizarre how wild this could be. But Oda is a troll, so who knows, you know? But I know Kube and I, we've shared a vision, and we cooked, like, the first time I ever talked with Kube for like a full like 6-hour shift on a voice chat back when I met you. Like, it's been like 2 years at this point. Kube had a huge like idea along these lines, and like, I'll butcher it if I try to spit it. So I'm gonna send it to you, Kube. But I fully actually believe that this is huge for what we have talked about in the past, me and you.
Yeah.
So restart it so I could. I have a vague idea, but once we get into it, I'll remember perfectly. You know how
It's
my
about
brain works sometimes.
it's about the dream, like the dream
The
piece,
reverie.
the reverie kind
Yeah.
of.
Oh, the reverie. Yeah. Okay. So in big ideas on my whole reverie piece and it's come from French fables who are called reveries, and is literally the different themes that was introduced in Dressrosa. And I've always wondered if certain people like Nika or stuff like that are in a dream state, and so a lot of those abilities could explain the whole the dream aspect to devil fruits. And what's interesting is in a reverie, you become the hero you once were, which is literally what Luffy is doing with the Nika fruit. So the fact that it says it's the Luffy's fantasy, and the fact of every time how the brain and the head has played an important role in the story, it's just that's loosely the idea of the reverie. That there is some of them who are literally in a reverie. And the name of the villain, usually the name of the villain is the imagination, usually shortened in French fables as im, I-M, for imagination. And what they say about the Nika fruit, it's limited by its imagination.
Yeah, and then I remember I was cooking with somebody like a year ago. Shout out to Lubu Kill You if he's ever lurking. I don't see him too much these days, but this man would not stop bringing up the filler content, the rainbow mist, and that's also something that like this kind of like hugely like implicates as being something more along the lines of like canon adjacent but like that's why I love looking through this kind of stuff and even other filler content, like is because it might not be directly written by Oda. Some of the Vykthor cards are written by the editors and stuff like that, but most of this does pass across his desk and get like the nod and stuff like that. And like, but this is like a direct statement from him, and it is huge what this could entail, Yeah,
because I've always loved your reverie take. It makes me wonder what exactly Nika's fantasy is. Is it a being from another dimension that's connecting with Luffy? Because we did know that it's like what is it that quote that Vegapunk said about devil fruits? About it's
the
like
will
dreamed of someone in another world or something like that.
The spirits that reside inside the fruit are the ones that are from a different dimension. They're part of a different dimension.
Yeah.
The spirits, the spirits,
with Ian being the imagination and everything, and Luffy or Nika, and specifically Oda said Nika being only limited by his imagination, that you may have cracked something big there, like big, and the fact that you've been talking about it for 2 years, like ooh, that like Vexyz said, that was the first thing I thought when I read that. Yeah, probably longer. When I the first thing I thought when I read that, I was like, oh my god, Cube is going to lose it.
Like like I said, it's something for all of us. The stuff we've been speaking the last 2 years loosely. Like there's even some old stuff that I remember that you and Vex have brought up that were basically validated loosely in those answers. So yeah, it's a big win. Really, really fun. It's a fun time to be a One Piece fan. That's all. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it really is. It is a wild, wild time. Does anyone have anything else to say about this first question before we move on to the next one? Because we have a lot of content to get through today.
So I think it ties in with what the Gorosei said as well about the Nika fruit only being limited to the user's imagination. Is that it also ties back to what Willie Cairn, the great physicist of the One Piece world, said. Anything one can imagine is possible in reality.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
I love that quote. I use it very freely throughout any discussion because it goes to show the vastness that the One Piece world has, and it even is more so reflected in Sun God Nika powers.
Like I said, I fully agree with like what Cube was spitting and what Dill has said, and like it's so we could literally on just this. It like I don't want to like harp on it too long, but like this is probably my favorite of the specifically the Q&A questions when it comes to Vykthor card info and SBS stuff. Like there's I'll keep those separate, but this was a crazy first question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact
it can also
he didn't give a non-answer is the big fact. No, that's all I was going to say, brother. You're good.
Yeah, and also like there's other fruits that are not at the level of Luffy's, but with all the different weapons she could create, how come she has ammunition for every single one of them? You know, like it's not the same type of ammunition you would use. You have that many times, or that weird thing that Kaku did in Ennis Lobby when he did one of his transformation, he turned to a cube. You know, like there's been many. So this is idea of fantasy being a true thing in Del fruits in general. Just maybe obviously the Nika fruit might be like the primal of all fantasy, definitely, but it's a spectrum of all Del fruit users. So it's like it's quite interesting.
And I love
What can
that,
Buggy
like,
do?
there's also like a lot of people have been speculating since we got to like 1044 and stuff that whenever like Luffy does enter into Gear 5, it's almost like the world around him, he can affect like, you know, the rubbery like rubber world like kind of stuff where he like picked up the ground and used it to like pull the carpet from underneath Kaido, and it's like everything gets like a little bit wacky. He even started like stretching Kaido's eyes out of his head and stuff, like, which like that stuff doesn't exist, but it's like maybe it's like the fantasy is like contained within a certain part of everybody, like their imagination, which is just locked into their head, but he is able to not only enter it but exert it like on the world around him through this awakening, which is sick. That's so cool.
The flamingo.
Yeah.
Think of the strings of the flamingo on
too.
clouds.
Yeah.
On clouds. Literally on clouds.
Making a whole human being out of them. But Uta, when Film Red came out, that was right around the time of the Gear 5 hype and everything, you know what I mean? And that whole movie was about letting your imagination, like her whole power basically was you can make your dreams come true in this realm.
Yeah. And like to also give credence to, like Cube just brought up the Doflamingo example, is like, and this goes back to the Reverie stuff as well, is that like Doflamingo is somebody who is quote unquote awakened with their devil fruit. And so like if the Reverie is like some sort of like a dream state, those who are awakened within a dream, it's like a lucid dream. So you would have the ability to control and manipulate like not just like your actions, but like like potentially even like the whole environment around you, which is like what a paramecia awakening from what we've seen kind of entails. So like this, I've been talking to Cube about this for literally years.
The
It's
double
just
play on
it's so
Awakening
crazy.
just hit me.
Exactly.
The double play on Awakening just hit me. Like, holy shit, that's spicy.
It also and by that logic, someone in a reverie that because Vex is right, that as someone who knows all of those stuff has the choice to be awake or not awake. The one character which would explain a lot of reverie fables, the way he's written, is Blackbeard, being aware of the illusion.
And he can't sleep. Like no one's
he
ever.
Can't
well,
sleep.
Not that that's presumably the case.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever seen him sleeping. So
yeah, it's quite interesting. And then you see Blackbeard doesn't seem to care about the consequences of this world. Like people's life is, he doesn't take it seriously, even his own. Well, I mean, with Whitebeard, sure, because he has ambition, but you could see that he has that laughing attitude, like he abandoned. It's a bit like Flamingo, you know, like they have nothing else to waste. But then the guy seems to know so much, and he could somehow choose to sleep or not sleep. So he kind of, you know what I mean? It's quite interesting, Blackbeard in that situation. What is he aware of, you know?
That's it. Well, that also too, like, dude, Dream Piece stocks are through the roof. You right, Vince?
Honestly, never been higher.
Well, and what does Blackbeard never do? He never sleeps. He never dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams
like
never
said,
die
lucid,
type shit. Like
dreams never
bro,
die.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
Are those who are awake,
Yeah.
and Blackbeard is constantly awake. Oh my God, Blackbeard's woke, guys. That's crazy.
Oh, crazy. But yeah, like I said, we could literally we could do a full theory, like me and Cube, right? We could like script this up and like put out we could literally do like a full 2.5 hour stream just on this. Cause I think we've literally, there's been multiple times where Cube and I have sat up like for like 6 hours in the middle of the night talking on VCs about this, blowing people's minds. And like it was crazy to see that happen with Lucas like in real time just now. Like he's like, I just got the awakening. Yeah, like,
the awakening. I've heard the Reverie take from Cube so many times. Like we've cooked on it before as well, and just the awakening thing. Yeah, that got me. I ain't gonna lie, that got me.
And like the Willie Karen like shout out from Dill, it's like it's literally, it plays so perfectly. It's huge. It's insane like how much all of this fits together. So I'm ecstatic.
And there's also another word that pushed to that. I never pushed until I recently talked to people and people didn't realize it, is the name Vykthor. the way they use Vykthor and you translate from French is to use the word live, but like I exist. You know,
Yeah.
I'm here. It's a very like, because French has different words to say the word living, and the way you say vivre, someone says that use that specific word, it means that they're trying to prove their existence. And then you have to think like awakening, you know, which now is wondering what if the real true people who have memories of the void century are the Delph fruit users, the fruits themselves. The more you awakened, the more you're close to your fruit, the more you get information. It explains why Luffy seems to know so much about the ancient weapon after awakening, remembering Pluton.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, dude, it's so fun. It's such a fun question.
It is. It's like, yeah. And the fact that we're almost 20 minutes into the stream already and we're only on the first question, kind of crazy, guys. I won't lie. But that goes to show how important that question is.
Yeah.
And how important
In
that
this
answer
question's
specifically
defense,
was.
a lot of these other answers are not answers.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yeah.
Hey, speaking of non-answers. Yeah.
Hey, let's
Question
go.
number 2.
Same brain cell.
Yeah. Question number 2. Sabo inherited the Mira Mira no Mi, or Flame Fling. He's demonstrating its power to the fullest. Did he do some training to properly use the Mira Mira no Mi?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
You disappeared from me. I don't know if it's just me.
I think
I'm
it was
sorry.
you.
Okay, sorry. No, okay. It's
No,
just it's on my end. Sorry.
So, yeah, no, you're good. Oda's answer was he is training every day. I think that Sabo, who had regained his memory, remembered a lot of things.
Crazy.
Non-answer.
When you when you regain your memory, you remember a lot of things. That's crazy,
if I'm being honest,
bro.
there could be some spice to it in the aspect that, like, maybe he's hinting to the fruit, reminding him, like telling him how to use it, or like linking up with the will of the fruit instantly because it had belonged to his brother priorly. Like, I could see where someone could do a deeper dive into this answer, but for the most part, to me, this is a non-answer.
Yeah. The
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's the Oda's breadcrumb on explaining what their fruit users connect to with their fruit.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
it's
for
just
me, the
breadcrumb.
strangest thing is why not the answer is what we should be looking at, but the question itself. Like, why were these questions hyped up to be something distinct and separate from the SBS and something that wasn't given in the Viva cards? Like, I feel like these questions might have been cherry picked, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like, I think that the reason why we got such non-answers is because the answers aren't necessarily like the main important thing. It's the questions themselves that, like, these had to have been picked specifically to kind of like stir the community up, and like we were talking with
questions we should
the
be
doctor,
asking
the
ourselves.
crew. Yeah, so Smokey, who said it earlier today, shout out to Grand Line Bound. Make sure you guys go sub to him. Link in the description if you haven't already. But like, it's like, this is the time where Oda is going to potentially throw some red herrings at us. But like, this question, kind of like, a lot of people have been wondering, like, is inherited will something that can be gained through eating a devil fruit? And like, is Ace somehow still living on through Sabo in the Mera Mera no Mi and things like that? And like, this is something that he wants us thinking about, but he's never going to just outright confirm it for us. You know what I mean? But like,
exactly.
So it's not necessarily the answers, it's the questions. When I think it comes to the Q&A part of the stream, with the SBS stuff, I think that's a little bit less on the questions themselves and more on the answers. But like, for this chunk of the stream, I think that's what we should really be looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is an important question. And the fact that all three of us went to the same thing is like, is he hinting at, some kind of connection to the devil fruit or Ace's will living on through Sabo? Like, that goes to show that it is a question that we need to be, as a community, asking ourselves. And I think that we should, like you said, Vex, going forward, definitely consider that as an aspect of these.
And I know it's been a thing. A lot of the cover story requests, like I know Dill had spit on it. There was like the whole, what was it, like Noda Skywalker. Yep. So it's like, sometimes I feel like there are like they do pick and choose. Like, they will decide like, oh, this is something that we should, put into the tertiary content now, as opposed to earlier or later. Like, like, I feel like there's definitely a bit of a curating of the information that we get, and this is a prime example as far as I'm concerned, you know.
Yeah. Anyone got any spicy takes on this question before I move on to number 3?
No, I was going to agree with you guys. It's like I said, it's like you guys said, it's not the answer, but it's also like also certain terms that he uses a word. Like I feel like Sabo has regained his memories. He's recalling a bunch of things. The term recalling is quite interesting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not remembering, but recalling, like something from a different life, you know. So yeah,
I think
that's what I'm agreeing with you guys.
He had to be strategic about giving us this non-answer, like which I think he's done several times in all of this information we're going to be going over. But I think it could tie to the legendary devil fruit that is passed down in the royal family potentially, because if there is some sort of information or will or any bit of like memories that are transferred from devil fruit user to devil fruit user throughout like the reincarnation cycle of the fruit itself, the entire royal Elbath family, like think of it like an avatar state or like you know or like, you know, like All Might to Midoriya, like it's exactly. So like I'm wondering if that's why this question was chosen, and obviously he couldn't answer too in depth, but that's where my head's at on it.
Dude, I like that
there's
too.
Some sort of
because what if there's a royal secret that you learn when you eat the devil fruit, and like that could be why Loki wants to destroy the world now. Maybe he learned something that's like, okay, it's a necessity, the Ragnarok needs to happen, kind of thing.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
For Kuso, when he translated Kuso Land, you know, in the Japanese, he did say that it does seem from the Japanese that the others did not eat it, the other rulers, but Loki did. So it could be that Loki being the only one who has eaten it in centuries. And think about, like, imagine the last giant who ate it was 600 years ago. But every ruler before that did not for 600 years refuse to take the fruit until Loki did as well. If there's been no one since then. And thus, they forget information. There's no one who can really tell them. Yeah.
That's probably the only real like thing that I mean, I know I've speculated for a really long time that like Sabo kind of instantly learned some things through Ace, like whenever
he used fire fist like right out the gate.
Right away. And like the Flame Emperor title as well. It's just like it's like it's a little convenient. And so like I'm thinking that with the legendary devil fruit being passed down by the royal family of Elbath, like just being revealed during this, like right before this break, I'm thinking that there's probably, you know, a connection there. Yeah. And that's really my head is stuck there. I can't really think of anything else to bring up with this question, but that's like the first place my head went to.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant too. Yeah, I love that. I'm not gonna lie. Dill, any thoughts on this one before I move on to question 3?
No, I think it's all been said already.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Question 3. Question: has Dragon ever lived together with Luffy? This is the second spiciest question to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Crazy.
The answer is no, at least not in what Luffy remembers. He is different with Kuma because he is the leader of the Revolutionary Army. And if their parentage relationship is revealed, it'll endanger Luffy's life. We know that already. This has already been stated in the manga, basically. I wonder what kind of feeling he felt when he was forced to leave his family, and what did he think when he saw his son in Logtown. That's the interesting part to me. Because that could be hit. We've all said the dragon flashback's going to be fucking tragic. Oh, I already slipped it in stream. Sorry, guys. It's going to be tragic. I think that's a kind of a tease to how tragic.
For me, your mic cut out, so it didn't even. No. It's good because I don't think the stream heard. Well, maybe they did because it's through OBS. But yeah, like, I think this is interesting because there was added content into Logtown to like in the anime that we didn't quite get in the manga, right? Which was when Dragon was first showed to us, and like I think that like it's really interesting to me because he says, "I wonder what Dragon thought when he saw Luffy," but like we got at least in the anime, like I'd have to pull up the panels, and I'm not gonna do that right now. I have so many tabs open, but like somebody correct me if I like or let me know like. In the anime, he said something like, "Oh, so you chose to be a pirate?" Like,
yeah, that's the path you chose. That's the path you chose.
So that's the path you chose. Yeah.
So, like, I mean, he was willing to allow Luffy to, you know, continue being free and going down whatever path he chose for himself. And we always kind of read into that it's like because Garp probably tried to force him into being a Marine, just like he tried to force Luffy into being a Marine. And we know now, yes, that Dragon was in fact a Marine at some point. So like it's really interesting to think about, like, why would Oda say, like, I wonder how he felt in this situation? Because we've already seen his reaction to Luffy and Logtown. And there was also the conversation he had with Kuma, who's also brought up in this answer at Goa Kingdom, whenever he's like, don't, like, that's my weakness. You know, don't talk about that, Kuma.
Yeah, you
like,
might as well
don't
unalive me now. Like, if you guys keep talking about it.
So I am so happy that we got this question and answer, because I've said, I think you guys heard me say that I find it very weird that Luffy doesn't seem to understand the concept of a parent when he talks about his dad, but understands Ace has a dad. And I've said this, that the only time we've seen someone act that way is in Dressrosa, when a Delphoid ability made them forget someone in their life. And so this, especially the part of saying has ever lived, at least not during a period that Luffy can remember. I've always wondered if there's some remembrance before you're 7 years old and Dragon did something so Luffy would not even remember it.
We were just talking about this on VC with Dak and everybody over in Dak Sake server. Shout out the man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's either a memory wipe situation or Luffy was just too young to remember, which is the logical answer, right?
But Nak has brought up a good point today. We were on VC together. He said, well, you think about it, Pudding is younger than Luffy. Yeah. So it could have been the 16. Previous user of her fruit. Yeah, she's 16.
Yeah.
So it could have been previous.
I was just about to say the same thing. That's crazy.
What if Ginny was the previous user of her fruit? Let me break your heart some more.
I don't know about that. I don't know if the timelines match up, but yeah.
No, I don't either. I'm just spitballing. It's what we do. But no, I think that's an interesting take. I'm more leaning towards the more logical answer. He was just so young when he was dropped off that he doesn't remember being with Dragon. And who knows, maybe when Luffy does finally... sorry. You know, I'm more of on the logical take of he's just so young that he doesn't remember being with Dragon. But, you know, who knows, maybe when Luffy does finally meet up with Dragon, I caught it that time. But when he does finally meet up with him, he will have some kind of recall, a memory of like when he was 2 or 3 of, you know, Dragon holding him or something like that. Something real brief and anime like. Maybe we get a call back to the shot between looking from Bonnie's eyes as Kuma picks her up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that could happen with this, and that's why I find it the most interesting question. Like, Nak is already spitting a theory about Pudding's devil fruit and everything. Like, it's definitely, in my opinion, spicy.
So the reason why I'm answering to Brandon King, why I don't think that Dragon had Kuma remove Luffy's memories is because Kuma barely found out about Luffy after he had the fruit and everything.
Yeah.
And he met Ace. So that's why I don't think it's Kuma, because he doesn't seem to have known about Luffy. Ivankov as well did not know about Luffy. So whoever it is, if there's someone using the ability, it was on the down low.
We saw Kuma like watching Luffy train back in Goa. So like he knew of Luffy, he just didn't like fully grasp. Like I think the surprising, like he said it was surprising that Luffy, it wasn't a surprise that Luffy was able to inspire his crew the way that he did back on Thriller Bark. So he's like, no wonder, because he's your son. Like, so, but I think he knew that like who Luffy was, and he knew that the connection to Dragon. It's just that he got confirmation in Thriller Bark because of what Zoro did. Which was nothing,
I was just saying at the time where he would have done it, Kuma wouldn't have known about Luffy, because it was years afterwards that he met Luffy, when he was like, what, 14, 13? That's what I meant. Not at 7 years old, because that was the whole point, you know, if he was young, the few memories. Anyways, but I do agree on you on that point. Dude, it's spicy. Yeah. Even though question 3 is like, okay, but it's still spicy. Man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a good question, and it's like Vex said, you know, we got to look at the question as well as the answers here. But yeah, there's some spice there.
With him bringing Dragon up, and like with Dragon appearing in so many different chapters throughout all of Egghead, like this just Like I don't like we didn't really get like any critical information from this, you know, but like I just think that like he's keeping Dragon fresh in our minds, which makes me believe that we might not see Dragon for as often as we did like in this next arc. Throughout Egghead, we got him several times, tons of cutaways and whatnot. I just think this is like something that Oda is implementing to kind of keep Dragon still fresh in our minds. But soon we should be. I'm hoping that we'll be getting some payoff. You know,
I think we will.
Don't worry.
At least I hope we will. I know it's coming eventually, but like you said, I think soon is especially with it becoming more relevant.
Yeah, if we get Dragon stuff for the next SBS, I'll riot. Like this needs to be the panels. Like,
yeah, it does.
Don't worry. The former White Dragon of the Marines is gonna make a big splash in the story. Yeah, I'm believing that he's a White Dragon of the Marines. Sorry, not to jump in there.
The White Dragon of the Marines. I like that title though. So let's move on. Dill, do you have anything to say about question 3 actually before we move on to question 4?
I think that Oda's answer was as vague as it could possibly be because, as he stated, at least not what Luffy remembers. Which, how would Luffy remember anything at that young of an age? Like we see that from Luffy's perspective, the first thing he recognizes is like getting dropped off at Don's house, and that is after he ate his devil fruit.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, like you said, it's a spicy question, man. It's a spicy answer. It's good. So question number 4. The ship of the Blackbeard pirates name is named the Saber of Xebec. Does it have any relation to Rox D's Xebec? Once again, Oda answering like Oda does. Xebec is the name of a sailing ship, so it could be a coincidence, or maybe not.
This is my second favorite non-answer of the whole bunch. This is my
this
second
one.
favorite.
I was like, you son of a gun.
It's so funny, dude.
It's funny though. Yeah, like it's so Oda, man.
Oh my god.
So maybe like.
I won't lie. I think I told Vex. I made that joke to you once in the past, but I said, especially now, the pun on that sentence is so funny because in Spanish, saber would mean to know, the word for knowledge, and I just find it very funny that it's called Blackbeard ship is known as the Saber of Xebec. So it's just funny, to know.
Sailing towards knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Yeah. Or just the knowledge of sailing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bunch of logs taped together. Good shit.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, it's something we've all speculated on a lot. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I was gonna say the Saber of Xebec isn't a bunch of logs strapped together. That was his original ship, which got destroyed.
Yeah, it's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It still looks like it's like pontoons or something like that.
It's like a big ass pontoon.
Yeah, it still looks very similar, kind of in design, and like I don't know. I thought that was so funny too, is because it's like it seems so unimportant. Yeah, it seems so. But then you give it a name like that, and everyone's like, "Now hold on.
Now hold on.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hey, right.
So I did dissect when I got the question because I did say this one is kind of a weird non-answer as well. But I'm wondering if he was egging on the whole, Saber of Xebec could mean to know Xebec, and then he says, "Is there some connection to Roxy Xebec?" So I'm wondering if Oda's loosely telling us there might be a closer relationship to Xebec and Blackbeard that no one is suspecting.
That's what I thought.
Nothing
too. Buggy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's buggy, man. I'm telling you guys, it's buggy. I know I've been harping on that for a while now, but I did think that like maybe we're looking at it's not in the question. It's not the question itself. It's who he asked about. It's not Blackbeard that's close to. I thought the same thing though.
I mean, Buggy's not in this question. That's what he's saying. I mean, we're gonna get something.
No, I'm saying someone else tied to Xebec that's not Blackbeard.
I was gonna say more. No, like there's a connection between Blackbeard and Xebec, and it's something we're not suspecting. Why use the word connection in this scenario? That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
He's saying that there's something else. Not Buggy, dude. Give it up.
The agendas.
The agenda,
agendas
baby.
are coming through.
Agenda.
But I mean, it has to be intentional. Like
Yeah.
the original naming of the ship, obviously intentional, and we got that. I believe before we even really got to like Act 2 of Wano and knew anything about Roxy Zebek in the first place. So, like, you know, I know Oda expects people at this point, like so many years into the story, to unearth like all of these like crazy connections. That's a very glaring connection that hasn't been addressed for so long, and then he chooses specifically to address it here because again, these all could have been SBS questions. They were put in this Q&A specifically to you know, to drum up some curiosity and some discussion, and that's what we're here to do today, you know. And I feel like this is huge. This is it's not a confirmation of anything, but like this is basically like, I feel like this is Oda saying like, because he can't, you know.
I agree on that.
Oh,
I
stream
think the
just
chat is frozen. on
lagged
screen.
hard for a second. Yeah, the whole stream lagged hard for a second. Uh-oh. 1 second, boys. All right, we should be good. We should be good.
Yeah, it's working for me. I just put it in chat.
Yeah, just
Ooh, all right, so we move it on to question 3 then.
yeah.
Question 5.
Question 5.
Question 5. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. Math. It's sequential numbers. My bad. Question
No
5.
worries, Luffy. No worries, Luffy.
The Commissari, the Divine Departure, attack that took out Kid in one hit. Was that move taught by Roger, or did Shanks learn it by imitating? Answer. He remembered it because he always looks up to Roger. It's not just something that anyone from the Roger Pirates can imitate, so Shanks' talent is quite astonishing.
Which is one of like Oda's actual answers in these 10
Yeah.
questions. Because
Yeah,
it's to
one of
show,
the few.
yes, he did learn it by imitating him, but nobody else on the Roger Pirates could just pick up and do, even though they saw Roger do it multiple times.
Yeah.
Which tells us
This-
that Shanks is built different.
But this shows me something we've seen a lot of people, especially Luffy, how he can see something from an enemy or an ally and retake it. Garp literally did that in Hashinosu, copying the way Luffy came in Marineford. It's putting, for me, especially now with Elbaf, it's putting a lot of stocks on Usopp, what Usopp can learn from, you know, the Giants. The way he says, you know, he learned it by
Imitation.
observing Roger from the back. No one in the Roger Pirates have been able to imitate it. Shanks is truly impressive. He looked up to Roger.
It's
You know, it
imitation
kinda
is
makes
the
you think.
highest form of flattery as well. So using that word specifically.
Yeah.
You know,
you
it-
see this in a lot of battle shonen. Is a lot of the times people near the top of the ceiling, people at the top, people like end game, like people are going to be individuals who show you that strength isn't just being the best at one thing, but it's being able to be great at everything. And like being able to emulate like several different techniques. He's able to erupt his sword into flames, which, you know, like we've seen Red Rock and like Sanji's like Ifrit Jambe and stuff like that. We've seen people catch on fire before and stuff, but like the fact that like we have no clue what is in Shanks's bag, and if he's got like some like Sharingan-esque like copycat abilities where it's just like through hockey he can replicate any technique he's like witnessed and like get it like at close to mastery. I know it's like I'm not like a Blue Lock fan, but I heard there's like something like that going on in there. So it's like it's crazy to think that like this could be, I mean, again, it's just speculation, but I feel like that would be so dope if that's what we were getting. You know,
That'd be
what I mean?
cool. Especially, it'd show you another level of observation hockey as well.
Yeah.
So I've speculated for like since we got the Galaxy Impact that Garp was using hockey to replicate Whitebeard's Gura Gura, and I think this just kind of feeds into that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
Like
top of
to
the
not
verse,
just be
you
able to
can.
replicate, but like to be able to counter it with his own technique. What were you gonna say, Vex?
basically that. Like, yeah, if like that's the point of being top of the verse. Like, you're not just the best at one thing. Like, you're able to do literally everything, and that's that's what I think there's going to be like a narrative shift there. It's like you're not just the best at punching people in the face, which is like what Luffy has been known to do for like a really, really long time. But now he is able to do everything that is within his imagination. So like it's and I feel like there's going to be people like if like what Kaido said, like hockey trumps all. Like that's like Roger was able to do it with just hockey. And I feel like so if like Luffy has like a devil fruit, and whether you believe it's like just a plain devil fruit or hacks like or anything like that, like there are people out there who are like still on par with like Gear 5 without having any devil fruit by just being busted. And that's why like I think this question makes me that much more interested in Shanks.
Yeah.
Super hyped to finally see some more.
Yeah, so the final saga is going to be peak, man. Egghead was only the beginning. Like things are about to get spicy, and you said, the questions are selected on purpose. Dragon, Shanks, like there's Sabo.
Yeah, and
these are the big players.
Blackbeard is able to like assimilate multiple devil fruits somehow and use multiple techniques and even cancel out people's devil fruits. So this could be something that if Luffy goes like gear neutral or whatever, like that's been a thing that's been going around for years now, is like what if he gets canceled out and he doesn't have his devil fruit, but what if through hockey he's still able to do things on par with Gear 5? And like then you think about Dragon, and whether you believe he has like a wind Logia or like some like crazy mythical Zoan bird thing or whatever, or if you think he's just a hockey man, he's gonna have to be on comparable levels to like what Shanks can do as well.
Yep. Like
everybody in the end, like whatever you think Emu's powers could be, if it's a devil fruit or if it's not, what if this is all achievable just through hockey?
And I find it very telling that the one guy in the crew that's his whole thing is training and getting stronger is Zoro. What type of technique he was shown with his opponents and his time skip, the human drills, the ability to imitate other people's skills.
Yeah. Ooh,
like even that, like if you think about like that was the whole thing, and that was introduced with Zoro, the main fight of the Straw Hats, which I always said that it's not. Then you have Life Return, which I always said that if you look at the description of Life Return, it's another way to describe muscle memory as well, to some extent. So it's like it's cool. It's an interesting question. It's a really interesting question.
Mm-hmm. So we move on to question 6.
Let's go.
All right. Please tell us how the bounty system of Crossfield works. The answer. A fleet admiral is 5 crowns. An admiral, 3 crowns. A vice admiral, 5 stars. A rear admiral, 3 stars. A captain and commodore, 1 star. Field officers are 1 million berries. Company officers are 100,000. 1 crown is equal to 10 stars, and 1 star is equal to 100 million berries. Which means Akainu's bounty is 5 billion berries right now.
Yeah, it's the highest active bounty we have that we know of.
I mean, it's a well-deserved bounty. Regardless of how you feel about the guy, he proved it time and time again that he is him.
It is facts.
Yeah.
Y'all think that they could actually pay any of this out? Like, I don't think they really expect anyone bringing in an admiral. Like,
I don't
that's
think so
crazy.
Dude.
I mean, what was T-Bone before he was?
I think he was rear admiral, or he might have been up to vice admiral before he was a captain. When Zoro,
I think he was rear admiral, so he would be at 20 million.
And they paid that out, and they didn't look. Buggy didn't look like he was like sad about losing that kind of money, but like when you get to crowns, I don't know, man. Like when you get to like.
I mean, what kind of money? What kind of money does Crocodile have?
That's what I'm wondering.
Deep pockets. But the more so question is, who in the world is going to be taking out the fleet admiral or even admirals to award 3 crowns worth?
Yeah, like I think another Yonko crew would be the only realistic answer.
Yeah.
I don't know if Buggy is gonna just, fork over a couple billion berries to another Yonko.
Luffy,
I don't know.
You beat Akainu. Here's 5
But yeah,
billion berry. Like,
it's really interesting. Like, I love just the whole concept of cross guild, and I'm actually kind of upset that this is the most tangible thing we've gotten from cross guild in most of Egghead. Like, we got like so much from so many other people, and like we saw them in reaction piece a bit, but like in the in between like Egghead and Elbath, where we now are confirmed to be like, or at least half the party, we saw the rest of the Yonko. We saw like what was going on with Luffy's crew, Blackbeard's crew, and even Shanks's crew and stuff. Like, we did not see what's going on at Empty Bluffs or what they're all about. So like, I'm hoping that this means we'll see that soon with them being mentioned in this question.
Because the last time we saw him was Buggy declaring that he's going for it.
Yeah.
He's going for the One Piece.
Yeah.
So
well, we saw everybody in reaction piece, but does that count? Yeah.
No.
Like,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And also,
I definitely want
and
to
we
see
know-
more from Cross Guild.
And we need to know what happened with those 3 seraphims. Because they were on their way for them as well. Like, that's a long-winded mystery.
Little baby Dofi, Moria, and Crocodile. Yeah, we have yet to see them again.
Croco
dude,
Kid.
little the S Flamingo looks like a menace. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Does, dude. The little
actual
grin.
menace. And the strut, this dude's got he's doing the hood walk. Like, it's crazy, dude. Like,
If you see him
my goodness.
walking with the limp, that's his Dofi walk. Bah, bah.
And then you have Moria looking like Hades from Hercules.
Yeah.
As Moria.
honestly, that's what I'm hoping this entails. The question itself, I'm hoping that's what it's kind of hinting at, is that we'll get them soon. The answer, I don't think this is really anything we didn't already know outside of the fleet admiral status, right?
With that and the exact monetary value of things.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of in Dressrosa, whenever Doffy had his like self-imposed bounties for some of the members that were resisting, which was first brought up like whenever Cross Guild first got introduced. Like, everyone was talking about like, oh, this is like when Usopp, before his proper bounty, when Usopp was worth like 500 mil, and everyone was just like, oh my god, his bounty's higher than Luffy or whatever. And like, yeah, it's really interesting to think about. And I thought that they did a really, really great job in the manga and in the anime of kind of describing, whenever we saw the scene with Suru and Sengoku talking about T-Bone being unalived, unfortunately. It really showed that like the citizens that you protect, you know, can turn around and like stab you in the back and then turn you in. It's like, what's the world come to? Like, you could, like, Sengoku's such a cool, I want to see more from him, honestly, as well. And I believe, wasn't he like, he's been shown a few times, and I'm thinking that like we might get something from him as well, with the like Suru's granddaughter being somebody who's being shown like frequent. I really hope we see more from Sengoku and from Suru. And I don't remember, somebody was talking about it in, I think, Dax server, shout out to Dax Sake, where they were like, weren't the Seraphim that were being sent to Empty Bluffs, was that a direct order from Sengoku and Suru? Like, are they also going to show up when Cross Guild shows up?
Oh, that'd be sick.
Be kind of sick, yeah.
I mean, let's just think of parallels. Sengoku was literally the mastermind of one of the biggest plots in pre-time skip with Marineford. And he was constantly being shown. And Suru, Oda's been playing some sort of chess move ever since Suru's been introduced. And we still haven't seen anything of it other than her letting people speak around her and giving us information. It's like, it's quite interesting, you know? So definitely there's going to be some spice pretty soon with them. Well, I think
so as well.
So excited.
Cube is hype. He's like, you've been cooking on Suru for so long. I remember I ranked the Washu Washu no Mi as like a 6,
You're
5 or 6
a bit choppy.
Oh,
You're back now.
I'm back
back.
now.
You
Okay.
seem to be back now, but you were breaking up a lot.
Oh, I was just saying, I remember when I first did the Devil Fruit ranking for Suru's Fruit, I gave it like a 3 or 4 out of 10. And then after talking to Cube, I was like, you know what? You're kind of right. This thing's cracked. Like,
It's just the anime. The anime made it more goofy, but when you read the manga and the SBS about her abilities, dude, it's a scary ability, the cleansing fruit with hockey.
the description of it cleansing not only the body but the soul is really
Yeah.
what's important.
Yeah. So she's my girl. Don't worry.
Are these is this an illustration like straight from the Q&A? Like, do we know who these 3 Marines are on these posters?
I'm looking at a different image, I think.
I'm seeing only the
I
one
don't
with
know.
Garp and Kobe.
All right,
the
then
one that-
yeah, I don't know if that's. It might just be like some random somebody threw this
Yeah.
together. Like on the website I'm on, it shows like 3 dudes and like their names, and I'm like, who are these guys? Like,
Who the heck
I
is
mean,
this?
it might have been because whenever we got the cross guild section where they introduced the bounty system, we did see some of their bounty posters that they had made up.
yeah.
Yes, I remember now. Yeah, there was
And
a
I
random
just every
guy.
time I see every single time I see a random name that Oda gives us, I just think to like all the random names that he was hiding messages in, like in puns in Impel Down. So like, you know what I mean? Like so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, Pandaman's in Impel Down. Pandaman, he does a lot of Pandaman. I think he's also in
Pandaman's
the Impel Down
everywhere,
registry. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
Panda Man is the One Piece.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty hyped for if Cross Gold returns, but y'all ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Yes,
Question
sir.
7.
Question 7. As the 10th ship captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, what kind of work does Kuzan actually do? And does he have subordinates? Answer. He has subordinates. He's not the type to obey everything Blackbeard says. For Kuzan, being part of a pirate crew doesn't necessarily mean he must do evil deeds. Rather, it implies living freely. However, as a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, it seems he has also caused many casualties. Kuzan a murderer, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, you heard my take, especially how he's fond of Robin. I wouldn't be shocked that Kuzan is the reason why they went after Pudding and not after Robin.
Ooh.
You know, so going after Robin, he finds another one. You know, Big Mom and starts trouble for Blackbeard in the same time. But it's a. I mean, I won't lie to you guys. It's not a question. So I was losing sleep over.
Yeah, I think that the main takeaway here is that Kuzan did this so he could do whatever he wants, and sometimes that aligns with Teach. You know,
Yeah.
so like,
Yeah.
Which fits
I
exactly
feel
with what
like
Teach told him in the bar.
yeah, like so he's just doing it for his own kind of freedom, and like I think this just kind of like solidifies the theory that Kuzan's not actually gonna like stay in this, but it's just like he's riding a wave right now, and like maybe that's my agenda, and I'm just like,
I mean, dude,
but like
he
I don't know, that's
was-
what this tells me.
We saw this guy with the sword members, that flashback with Kobe. We didn't see the front, but that was just Kuzan from his back. The same coat, the same afro hair, and he was with Garp and that other woman. So there's always that sword angle that he's playing, double thing. So
A double agent.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a take that I've heard several times, and I think it's possible. Knack in the chat said Panda Man is on Shanks' crew.
Pandaman's everywhere, man. He's part of every crew. He's part of the Eternal Dawn too. You didn't know that?
I mean, dude,
This is facts.
there's an SBS of showing different times of Panda Man, and Oda had the balls to actually put a panel where Luffy was close to Panda Man, and Panda Man was in Alabasta with Luffy. He just can see it because there are 2 people in front of him, so that's why you can see him. It's so funny, the Panda Man stuff. He's like, "Where's Waldo?" But Panda Man style.
Where's Panda Man?
Something
Yeah,
that I think is interesting, and this will become a bit more like of a discussion with the next question, because it also revolves around 2 admirals, but we get like a Kainu's confirmed bounty with Cross Guild, and this is a question about the former admiral former Admiral Aokiji, now Kuzan, and then we get a little bit more about Fujitora and Green Bull, but we don't get my boy Kizaru at all, which is like is he done for the story? Like, are we gonna see, like, is there gonna be repercussions for like Egghead? Like, I'm curious because a theme that we can see throughout the question so far, like it talks about Luffy, who's a Yonko, talks about Sabo, Flame Emperor, it talks about Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, it talks about Blackbeard, Yonko, it talks about Shanks, Yonko, talks about Buggy, Yonko, and like that one question talked about Buggy in Cross Guild, and it also talked about Akainu, who's Fleet Admiral. This one talks about a Yonko commander / former admiral, and other characters that we're going to be talking about here in the future as well are also significantly important, like Yonko admiral like status or like an adjacent level of influence. But we don't see Kizaru at all, and that's curious to me.
Well,
that is curious. I didn't even notice that.
For me, this kind of makes you think of, I've been saying that there's going to be a story with the Marines, why they're so bad at their job, and there's going to be a Joy Boy parallel to that. It could be that the stuff of Kizaru is not as over as we thought it was, and maybe pretty soon he'll be back. You know what I mean? Like with all the other people, like he's giving information on certain people, we might not see them for an arc or two. The fact that Kizaru isn't there might not be that he might return sooner to the story as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think
so
about.
well. Yeah. Question 8. Speaking of admirals, what kind of system is the World Military Draft that added Fujitora and Ryokugia to the Marines forces? Answer. Countries affiliated with the world government have their own soldiers for protection. Through the World Military Draft, the Marines strengthened their military by drafting the most capable soldiers from these ranks. This draft also became a trigger for the recent 8-nation revolution, as the weakening of national defense forces may have contributed to the revolution's success.
May have. Perhaps. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Maybe it didn't.
Maybe the world government shot themselves in the foot.
This is a better answer to what we got a few years ago, where we just thought they were civilians. This makes much more sense.
I knew
Could you
they were
imagine
kind of
civilians in Fujitora? Like having the grab fruit just walking around.
I think it's interesting. I don't think this is like crucial information, unless it might be like another draft, perhaps. But like it's just like keeping Fujitora and Green Bullet like fresh in our minds, I think.
This actually shows to me that the world government really functions like the United Nations in our world, because that draft kind of makes you think of the what's the name, the Casque Bleu, the blue helmets, the militaries that the United Nations have, and they draft the best of each countries depending on the mission and the
just
region.
like the Olympics. Like they'll pull like form like a dream team or something from like
the legends, like the 5 legends, of the NBA versus the 5 great rookies of this era. It kind of makes you think of that bit.
That's kind of like where my head's at. Like I don't like it's interesting because we saw with what was it, Kaido's backstory, like the Vodka Kingdom was willing to like turn him in as like the single strongest, like this dude's basically an army, here y'all can take him, and that was like in order for them to pay the heavenly tribute that they couldn't pay, right?
So and they have
it's not a
place
draft,
in
but it's like but it's like something similar, like I feel like, right? But I'm more curious about how many of these drafts have taken place, because like the world government has to be in like a pinch in order for them to like start to do this, or is this just like something that happens like every couple of years, and it just so happened that these dudes were strong enough to become admiral level?
This kind of makes you think, especially how Fujitora was drafted. This could be an explanation on how maybe Garp as well was drafted a long time ago, seeing the type of person he is, as well. People like Garp, because I've always wondered, how did they come across the whole Marine thing? Especially since, yes, I see what they're trying to do, but they're a minority. You know what I mean? Most of the Marines have to follow orders, not be alphas. So it could explain how some of them found themselves in it,
It also kind of explains individuals like Smoker to a degree, where his justice doesn't really align fully. Like he, when you're a reluctant Marine like Saul or like Smoker, it makes more sense as to how you could have been conscripted instead of just like signed up willingly. which is kind of, I think that adds a lot of depth. I think that's really sick. But if that is like, again, there's no confirmation, but I think that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially with like Saul being so long ago, and Garp would have been a long time ago as well. Smoker's a little bit more recent, but we did see him at like Roger's execution. So I feel like there's more depth to the fact that Smoker doesn't align entirely with what a typical like Marine's duty is, and like these people having their own senses of justice. It's like it's really interesting when you take this into account. But I feel like this really isn't like super new information though. Like, or like it's like a confirmation, but it's just like, you know, when you hear the word draft, this is kind of like where your head goes. Like you could assume if they were paying a heavenly tribute, if they had a really strong dude there, they could. And like with Kaido's backstory as well, I feel like this was kind of already something that was slightly seeded into our minds as an audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think you did bring up a good point on, you know, the reasoning of it to some extent. You know, like the fact that it's an order that the countries have to obey is quite interesting. You know, it's not like do you guys have some people for us? No, it's more like we're the Night's Watch. We're taking people for the Night's Watch. Give them to us now.
Yeah,
kind of
and
vibe,
it's
which is
also
interesting.
like a way of keeping these individual countries weaker than the Marines. Like if they have the strongest dude, now he's ours.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what I was going to bring up. Is it's kind of like if they deem you a threat, even if you're associated with them for like, a group starts a coup and then they start to overthrow the king or the ruler of the country, it becomes to a point where they could take out more than they could benefit from the world government. So they're like, yeah, well, you're on our side now. You're on our side now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I don't know if there's too much more to it other than it's just it's controlling the tides of power and just another form of tax, you know, that the world government implements. And now we have a little bit more details about it. It goes over it a little bit in the actual SBS as well when we figure out exactly more about these two individuals' backstory. So we'll focus more on it again whenever it comes up again. But you guys are ready to move on to the next question?
Yeah, question 9. That was a goated question.
I'll go ahead and read it out. It's can you tell us about the Rocky Port incident, which is huge. This is highly anticipated from the whole community, which led to Kube being called a Marine. He said explaining it in full would take some time, and it may not be covered in the main story, but here's a summary. Law learned that Pirate Island held an important poneglyph, so he hijacked a large passenger ship, the Rocky Port, and used it to infiltrate the island. The ship was carrying the king and noblemen from a certain country, but it turned out to be a smuggling vessel under the same nation's flag, connected to Pirate Island. Law ended up clashing with pirates on the island soon after Kube and Blackbeard arrived separately with their own agendas, and the three joined forces. Following this incident, Blackbeard became the king of Pirate Island. Law was recognized as one of the 7 warlords, and Kube was celebrated as a hero. This is crazy. Like that we're getting Rocky Port in like a SBS kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel?
Especially with the fact that we got more stuff on X Drake, Kujaku, and Prince Groose in the SBS or Viver card. It kind of makes you think, like there were more people involved. Like I'm now wondering, while X Drake was busy with that
you
what if
someone Helmeppo?
Yeah, like what if some of them were, because I find it very ironic of Kube defeating 100, what was it? He defeated at one point 100 pirates, and then we found out Law became a Shishibukai because he gave the heart of 100 pirates. You know what I mean? Like the timing of everything. And then this is what they use, and that was just before Blackbeard went to get Kuzan, if I'm not mistaken. Like it feels like either it's coincidence or Sword has been making moves for a very long time. So it's like I do feel like Rocky Port storyline might come back in a sort of small flashback, but we might be finding more actors based on that. The fact that he's going in depth on explaining stuff. That poneglyph, I would love to think is a real poneglyph. I'm wondering if it's another poneglyph with a certain information.
I don't think it's a road poneglyph, but it might be something detailing like Uranus potentially, because like we've seen that there's like one detailing the location of Pluton, which was at Alabasta, right, or what, and then there was like it's just so some of them are important all poneglyphs are important, you know what I mean? So like that feels a bit redundant, but I don't think it's a road poneglyph. Do y'all?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No.
Especially getting the breadcrumb on a side question like that.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Which, I mean, it does throw a wrench in Oda's Road to Laugh-Tale that he came out with during the Wano break. Is he had said that it could either be on Hachinosu, Vera, Elbath, or another unnamed island in the world. But if it isn't on Hachinosu, that means that it kind of only relates to two of those now.
Yeah. And the fact that they're already on one of them could be Elbath. Most likely, it might be the place where they'll find out either about it or they'll find it there.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like Vera was just a huge red herring. Like, you know, like maybe it'll come up, but like I don't know if we're actually gonna see that. Like, especially with him kind of cutting things. Like, if Rocky Port didn't make it into the manga, I don't know if like some of these other dangling like plot threads are. So this is actually, I'm gonna be completely real. This is my least favorite actual answer we got. Like, this is I agree with like some of what's being said in the chat. This could have its own whole movie. Like, this could be something like so hugely detailed, and now it's feeling like a God Valley type of thing. Like, oh, we're only gonna see like glimpses or like get allusions to it, and we're not actually gonna know like the full depth of what happened, because this answer is kind of just like, oh yeah, you remember Law and Kube and Blackbeard, the only three people who we know already were confirmed to be involved with this mysterious event? Well, they were there for some reason. And like I don't know, it's like the only new information we got was that there was a poneglyph there also. Like, I feel like it was an answer, but it feels like a non-answer, you know?
Yeah. And also, like, even though I don't want to believe it, the fact that he said that I don't think it'll be included in the main story, I do feel like even though it won't be an entire plot, I think it'll be like a flashback when we get the sword stuff, and we'll get a certain half-chapter flashback of Rocky Port, but speeded up. So I don't see it as stuff like that, but I do feel like there's going to be something, because, you know, the emphasis of it's not going to be the main, you know how Oda is. If he says something that's very cheeky like that, you have to expect maybe the opposite.
All right, so for confirmation, he said cheeky, not cheeky.
Yeah.
I got cheeky on the mind, y'all. I did not hear tiki, but yeah, like. But yeah, like 3-Day was also saying that they were taken completely off like by surprise by this answer. I think a lot of us were. Sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna throw back to what Kube had said earlier about like it sets up that Sword has been making a moves for a while, and I personally believe that even since they were founded, which we don't know when, but it's an easy speculation whenever you look at the events that the world has faced. We know that they weren't around after before a certain point, but they became around, and the fact that to me, it just seems like they go around and do all the things that the world government doesn't want them to do, but it's stuff that's morally right to save people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to like if we ever do know more, and like somebody was bringing it up. I don't remember who. I'm sorry. I would love to, you know, quote you, because this is not my idea. But if we got like another like fan letter type of episode, even just like an episode, not even a full movie, detailing some of these events that was like not not events following the Straw Hats themselves or something, just like a little special. Like, I think that would be super dope. Because I don't think this is information that really like breaks the rest of the story unless we can't see Ochoku like at all. Like Oda can't show us Wang Ji for some reason or so. Like, unless like I don't know why he would play it close to his chest or choose to cut it after it was built up to be something that was pretty important. Like, but not like so important that he can't show us because it would spoil anything for the future. Like, this is an event that was very solidified in the past. Like we don't even really have like a solid timeline. It's just sometime in the time skip, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so when we got the descriptions of it, we knew that Blackbeard became a warlord first, and then Law became a warlord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and then go ahead.
I was gonna say, so that places it sometime after the Payback War, because that's the event that was directly before Blackbeard became a warlord, and then no,
I think
he was already a warlord. He used his warlord status to get into Impel Down.
Yeah, he was a warlord pre-time skip, but like, so it's not really like a concrete. There's nothing like major for us to go off of, and I was thinking that maybe in this question we would get a bit more of a solid timeline. But all we know is that it happened some point, and like, I mean, Kube was probably a captain like whenever it happened. So like, but he would, because he wasn't a captain when we saw him in Post Studies lobby, right? He was like. I'm trying to remember, but there's still nothing like really tangible for us to like pinpoint when this happened throughout the time skip. And I was thinking we might get like something like that. And since you mentioned the Payback War, that's another thing that I would love to get like a little like, I don't know, dude. Fan letter broke my mind. Like people are spitting some praise for it in the chat, and I love that. And like, I want to see so many more side stories that don't necessarily just focus around like the main narrative and the Straw Hats and things like that. Maybe I'm spoiled by Egghead because we got so much stuff that was not directly the Straw Hats. We got to see the Revs, we got to see the Reverie, we got to see, like all of these different places and like throughout reaction piece and stuff. And it just like reminded me how many different perspectives this story kind of entails, and like all of this different, it's so cool. And Fan Letter did like a really, really good job. And I want to see like a Rocky Port fan letter type of, or like side story kind of thing, and like a Payback War side story kind of thing. I think that'd be sick.
I won't lie. You asked a question. Why don't we get it now? And the way we're getting it, it's kind of weird. Like there's something we're not ready yet. And I've said this because I never believed this plan came from him. I think it's going to be a conclusion to the Lost storyline that we got ever since the post time skip started, because his plan worked perfectly for both the Revs and the Sword. And a Sword member, X-Drake, was actually helping Law and Wano. And if you remember the first interaction of Sabaody between X-Drake and Law, it felt like they already met each other before. So yeah. So it kind of makes you feel like it must, what you're saying, Vex, is it's Law or one other character is part of their story, and we're not ready at that point yet, when we're supposed to get that last part for the Rocky Port incident.
Yeah, what about you, Lucas? You got any we've been talking about the Rocky Port incident a bit. Yeah, I
don't know, this is like you said, I hope that there's a little bit more to it, and like we get something, even if it's just a panel or two from Kube when we learn more about his time in the Marines, because I'm sure we will. I hope we do, but like you guys had said earlier, I think that the most prevalent information we got out of this is, it was a ship, not a port, like, and there was a poneglyph on Hachinosu.
Oh yeah. Well, if you guys are ready, we got one more question from the Q&A to go over before we dive into the SBS and Vykthor card stuff, which, spoiler alert, this is my absolute favorite non-answer that Oda gave us out of all of the
it's so
Q&A
detailed.
stuff.
It's so detailed. I'm so shocked by the
perfection.
details. I'm
peak
so shocked at the
form.
detail.
Do you want to read it, or Cube? Do you want to read it, Lucas? Do you want to
Yeah,
read it? Or
yeah.
you want me
I'll
to?
read it.
Yeah,
I'll
you
read it
hit
because
hit
it's
it.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
it's such guys. So bear with me because there's a lot of information. So it gets very heavy. Question 10. Sin Garling fought the pirates of the God Valley incident, but just how strong is he really? The answer: oh, he is strong. There's a reason for that strength.
Dude, he is so strong. Like this is peak Oda. This is exactly what I expected. And it's just so funny. And I think this is I was laughing. I was literally like, I'm not even mad. I'm literally not even mad. I didn't expect that we would even get a mention of Garling.
Yeah.
I thought somebody might
There's a
ask
reason
about
for
like
that strength,
the
though.
yeah.
This is the
dude, he is so
answers.
strong.
This
I
is the
think-
answers that I get from my teen cousins when I ask them how's school going.
BK earlier put it perfectly. We do know where that strength comes from. It comes from a daily dose of a number one with a large Coke, Big Mac. He is Mac tonight.
Oh my god. This is wild. This is I don't know. I think it's also
So-
still like really important. Like memes aside, I think that we got like nothing but like information on like there's admirals, there's like straight up Yonko, there's like the fleet admiral, the hero of the Marines. Law is a goat and has like a bounty literally completely adjacent to Luffy, and so like there's all these like really important figures. Literally all of the Marines, or I'm sorry, all of the admirals except for Kizaru were listed in this. All of the Yonko were listed. And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without listing the newest member of the Gorosei and representative of the Gods Knights. Like, this is huge.
Garling,
this is
yeah.
insane.
It's
When you
almost
think
like
about-
it's everyone that was in that panel from Elbaf, or from right before Elbaf, when it's like
Yeah.
the ones
Yeah.
going for the One Piece.
I was thinking that we were gonna get like the Shadow Shanks. Everyone thinks is like Shanks' twin brother or whatever. Or like Shiv was like the funniest name I heard for him so far. Like I thought we were gonna get a question about him, but we get one about Garling instead, which I think it's fine, But
Shiv.
I knew
Shiv
we
is
weren't gonna
real.
get a good. Yeah, I knew we weren't gonna get a solid answer, but I was a little bit surprised to see Garling in the question.
I was too. He is strong though.
So strong.
But this,
So
but this
strong.
also
And there's
another thing that
reasons.
pushes. But there's also a thing that I felt with Garling, the way they've been popping up, and I feel like we're really one arc or two arcs away from the God Valley flashback. Because it's weird, Garling in the last ever since we first saw a glimpse of him, we've got like 4 illustrations of him in the story. Like they're really
Yeah.
popping him up for some reason. Like we know why now because he's a Gorosei, but I feel like his imminent threat will be pretty soon. So he's dumping us some lore about Garling, so that when we see it, we're not taken by surprise.
Yeah.
I'm very curious
I
about
agree.
Garling, the way he's describing him. Dude was a champion of an event where Garp, Whitebeard, well, we don't know much about Zebex, Roger, Shiki, and the guy was a champion. Like, what really went down,
How
Because I
dare
don't
you?
believe it. Yeah,
How dare
I don't
you
believe
name all those strong people and not bring up the strongest of them all, Charlotte Linlin? Jesus.
Yeah,
Bruh.
yeah, no, she's not part of Kaido's mosaic when he thinks of the strongest people. So she's out of the drawing board.
She's
Sorry,
beat him
man, your
before
girl.
though.
I'm just messing with it. I forgot her.
He said I forgot her.
Yeah, man.
Let's move on to the SBS. But you are right, Cube. But let's move on to, not about forgetting Charlotte, but let's move on to the SBS.
You're right. Yo.
SBS Part 1.
We
Reader,
don't gotta
this is-
read all of them, I don't think.
Yeah. The first
Oda
one's the
talking
insect
about
one.
wearing. Yeah, well, Oda talking about wearing panties on his head and stuff. I don't know if we need to talk about that. Like,
I saw some people going crazy off this first one, though. It was about the large insect and hitting it with the manuscript. And because Oda answered the question and brought up Imu-sama. But Guys, I'm here to tell you now. He's calling the reader Imusama because he killed an insect. Big brain stuff here.
Gargantuan.
Gargantuan. So we can skip that one, actually. Oda Sensei, what about Yamato, who ate a devil fruit because of hunger? What did the child Yamato's beast form and human form look like? It looks like this. I can't show chat. Damn.
It's adorable. It kind of
adorable.
The full beast form kind of looks sad. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty sad.
It does.
But yeah, it's adorable. It's like I don't know what else to say about it. It's just it's a little cutie.
We
But
found
that
out
does
also,
confirm that they
go
were
ahead.
pretty young when they ate the fruit, right? Like
Yeah.
really young. Like, so I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I think this is just like, it's just some goofy stuff. The SBSs always have like goofy stuff, you know, which we'll see some more of that,
and I
trust
think
me.
it's also Oda's way of, because there's a lot of people back then who were convinced because of the clouds around her shoulders, that she was awakened. I think it's also him proving, that second image, looking just like that Yamato face we saw.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen an awakened Yamato as well. Because I remember back when they first came out, oh, Yamato must be awakened because Luffy and her have the same thing around their shoulders.
Next up, we have some answers about the long arm tribe, and is that their elbows do have names. The elbow closest to the hand is the friend elbow, and the elbow that's closest to the shoulder is the love elbow. And it represents the emotional distance between you and your significant other.
See, it's kind of sweet, but like also the Japanese are a little bit repressed. So I don't know. It's also kind of like pause, like, like I don't know. Some people, I don't know, like, but no, it's interesting. Like, I think it's kind of cool for him to like give terms to these, like whoever this reader is that wrote in, like that's a pretty cool question. Like that's shit I would never think of,
Good. All I'm gonna say is, there's never a dumb questions, but I'm really questioning. From all the questions you could have asked Oda, he asked him that question. That.
Of all the questions to get in to jump with, like,
Yeah, like literally, there's so many questions.
Can you imagine if you were like a long arm tribe and you went out, to the club or to bar and with your long arm honey and like whole bunch of your long arm friends, and you gave like a hug to an acquaintance with like the wrong elbow, and then your girl's just like, why'd you do that?
you son of a bitch.
like how could you? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like it's a goofy answer. I think it's fun. I think it's cute.
I do too. I love having that, like you said earlier, that tertiary knowledge too, like indispensable. Wait, is that the right word? I don't think it is. Oh well. In chapter 11,
it's a word.
It's a word, yeah. Next one. This one has brought up some stuff in the community, though. In chapter 1103, Luffy was so hungry and could not move, but in chapter 1106, he became full. Who was it that gave Luffy food? And Oda gave us 3 candidates. When Luffy said food, who was it that responded? Was it Sanji or Frankie, who were present and near him? Kizaru and Sentomaru were also there. Whoever did it never got exposed. It seems that action seemed to be done in the speed of light that even the naked eye can't see. Even I don't know who did it. Speed of light. So,
Oda's such a troll.
Such a troll.
I mean,
what a troll.
I said that to people. I mean, Sanji was also a good candidate, but the whole Kizaru, especially like Luffy was eating the same meal that Kizaru was eating before he, the whole egghead stuff happened. We knew where it was going with it.
Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption that Kizaru was the one who did it.
Yeah.
Or Frankie. I don't think Sanji moves as fast as Frankie.
Wild.
Thank God Josh isn't here. Thank God Josh is not here.
Yeah, Josh
it could be Sentomaru. It could be like, I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot of people.
What's he known as the ultimate fastest in the Marines?
Sure. I like. The thing is what's interesting here as well is something that I've been talking about. People, Kush Daddy knows. He's seen me on the front lines. Like, it could be more than just the obvious choice. The obvious choice is Kizaru for sure, but the fact that this isn't an outright confirmation, regardless of what people want to read into, like, it's not a confirmation, but it's pretty heavily implied. But like, Kuma,
Oda 100% confirmed it was Kizaru. He said speed of light, bro.
Just like he
Sanji
confirmed Queen is Frankie's
faster than
father.
light, which is why he was invisible without the stealth black suit. Guys, come on, reading comprehension.
but that's not it. There's like, I could literally name like 5 people who can beat the naked eye. Like when it comes to just people who are on Egghead. Literally just on Egg. Like, I'm not talking about the whole story. I'm talking about people who were literally right there. And not all of them were listed directly by Oda, but like, it's stated that Kuma with the paw fruit has the ability to repel attacks and things like that at the speed of light. It literally says at speed light. That doesn't mean he has to. So people like were pushing back and were like, well, it took him 3 days to get, like, no, like he doesn't have to send them at the speed of light, but he can. That is stated. It's like a thing. And so like there's 2 paw users on this fruit right now. Or I'm sorry, on this island right now. So like that's 2 people. And but like so there's that. There's Kizaru, obviously, Sanji, who can beat the naked eye easily. That's another option right there. Stella can literally teleport. Van Auger can literally teleport. And I'm just like there's this is 6 people that I just named, and only one of them's Kizaru. So I mean, I feel like Oda's just a troll. Obviously, the safest answer is it's Kizaru, but it could not be.
So my whole thing is most likely is the reason why he was to make it very obscure. And we've been talking about it with Vykthor, but we're soon going to get a storyline with a certain Marine, and we'll be seeing certain stuff from the Marine side, similar to Kuma with the Straw Hats. And I think that's when we're going to get the answer of who exactly gave it and for what reason. Because we also need to know the reason. If it's like on the Marine side, or even it's on the Blackbeard side, whoever group it is, we still need to know a reason why they felt like they needed to feed Luffy. You know what I mean?
See, this is where I feel like it's important to bring up the distinction between the SBS and the Q&A questions that we just went over. With the Q&A questions, like I said, it makes sense that these questions would be cherry picked, and that these would be questions that are meant to provoke our thoughts and to keep things like in the forefront of our mind and whatnot, such as the Yonkos and the Admirals and the God's Knights and the Gorosei and stuff like that. The SBS, all of these questions so far have been goofy. All these questions so far have been just chill, and like if it's in the SBS, it's not important. I don't think it's going to be brought up. Like I straight up don't think this is going to be something that's ever going to be expanded upon. This is the closest we'll ever get to confirmation from Oda, but it's not confirmation because it's not important. He's just being a troll. Like people are reading so into it.
No, because he uses that, but it like most likely is like you said it perfectly. We'll get that when the time comes. We'll get that answer at one point. He's just teasing us at that moment.
Yeah,
obviously Kizaru is the best candidate, but we'll get an actual storyline.
I literally don't think we're ever gonna get it. Like maybe in the anime they expand upon it a little bit, but like I just think the whole reason why I think it's in the SBS is because it doesn't matter. That's just me though, because like it's definitely different from the Q&A. You know what I mean? These questions are cut from a completely different cloth. This could have been in the Q&A easily, but it wasn't. So I don't think it's important. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, I'm just kidding. I was going to say, well, we'll remember that. No, I'm just
like, I'm totally down to be wrong. That's just where my head's at,
I mean, we're as much right as you are right now, so don't worry. That's the beauty of One Piece.
Yeah, the only thing we should take away from this is that this is a 100% airtight ironclad confirmation without a shadow of a doubt. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
I think people need to calm down when it comes to some of this stuff,
Yeah. So next one. Reader, I really love the sword members, so I want to know their age and profile. Does Drake belong to the same class year as Kujaku and Prince? Oda then goes on to say, it's difficult to point out what exactly you want to know about their profile is, but I can give out their ages and heights as such. For more detailed information, it's written on the Vykthor card. I won't say something mean as, I want you to buy those, so I won't write it here on the SBS, but physically speaking, the information written there is much better. Don't get me wrong, since you've asked for it, I will answer. Here you go. We find out Drake is 33 and a height of 233 centimeters. Kujaku is 26 with a height of 180 centimeters. Prince Groose
800
is
centimeters.
yeah, 800. She's as tall as Whitebeard, boys.
She's taller than Whitebeard.
Prince Groose is 29 with a height of 205 centimeters. Captain Kube is 18 and a height of 167 centimeters. Commander Hiberi is 17 with 165 centimeters. And Lieutenant Commander Helmeppo is age 22, height goated. There we go.
Hell yeah.
So
Did you say Hiberi?
yeah, so I have a comment.
Hiberi.
I think that's a misprint.
What's a
It's
misprint?
Yo.
Hibari. It's Hibari first of all.
quick,
No,
Real
no,
quick,
no,
huge
it's
shout
a
out
misprint.
to
For the fact that you said Helmeppo is goaded. That's a misprint. That's
Nah,
never been
nah,
proven
dude.
true at all.
Get on
That's
the
been
Helmeppo
proven.
agenda with the rest of
In
us.
fact, it's been proven the opposite, that he is not goaded.
So
know.
there
I don't know
is
what you're talking about.
from the
slander.
so the from the French
Slanderous.
translation, there was a note that was said while they were translating for Prince Groose. It does seem that the prince, the way it was written, seems to be connected to a last name and not a title. So it could be that, Prince is his last name.
Yeah,
And
he's
not,
just some dude.
Oh, yeah, he's not a prince of a country. He's just a rich kid.
Yeah.
Which was in the base translation of it.
But yeah, real quick shout out to we got John Sherrod on all social media in the chat. Shout out to the OPU crew, and then we've got the goat himself, Dak Sake. What's good, brother? Glad to have y'all in the chat.
Dark. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we don't
won't
have
lie.
to spend too much time talking about the sword members now. If y'all want to talk about them more, whenever, because like Oda did say, they're in the Vykthor cards. We're gonna be talking about that stuff as well.
Yeah, we can
What do
go
y'all
to the
think?
next one. Yeah. We can go to the next one, then talk about it during the Viva card.
Oh, Lucas is muted. So the next one is, let me scroll down. What is it? It's this Jinbei one, right?
Yeah.
Sixth question. Reader, what will happen to Jinbei after 20 and 40 years? And so Oda said Jinbei is 46 years old right now. So let's see what he looks like in his 60s and 80s. And then we get just some sick art. Dude looks, in every iteration, dude looks gnarly, and I love it. So we get the best timeline Jinbei at 60, who says, that's enough. Don't go after them. We're all equals. And then him at 80 in the best timeline, he says, you've grown so much, which is like, oh, man. Abuelo Jinbei is him. And then we get the worst timeline Jinbei, who says, I will unalive all humans, which is sick. I kind of wish we got like a version of him that was like that. But then we get age 80 in the darkest timeline, who says, I will drag you all down to the sea floor, which is big Davy Jones vibes. What are y'all thinking?
I was gonna say it's a very much so. Shout out to Group 2, we solo over there. It's very much
Hey.
Lord Azra vibes.
Yeah, it really is. But
So there was something on the bad timeline on how much he looks so much like Kaido and Hody Jones. The way they're
Oh.
drawn.
yeah,
Like
that's
the
kinda
60 years old.
interesting.
Yeah, the 60 years old is definitely Kaido's dragon face. Similar to how he looks his face when he's a dragon.
Yeah,
Then-
whenever he's like super drunk, it kind of reminds
Yeah.
me of like when he did the whole tear in my beer like
yeah.
technique or whatever. That's the face. That it is absolutely that. That's hilarious.
And and it is, even though it's a dragon, it's a fish type, so it is quite interesting. That the way
Yeah.
he drew Jinbei.
And then the Hody Jones, especially with the white hair, because the
Yeah.
energy steroids and whatnot, that's a really cool
Yeah.
pick. I want to focus on the best timeline Jinbei for a second, though. Him at age 80 is giving me big Uncle Iroh vibes, and I love that.
He also looks a bit like, I felt like the 80 at first, the first glimpse, he gave me the vibe of expression of Tom. The way Tom was always laughing around.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not physically,
gonna-
but there was an expression similar.
He's gonna do it all
Yeah.
with the Dawn.
Yeah, man. The Don. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, he's the son. He was the sun pirate
Yeah, it's
captain.
a-
So
It's a
the
cool.
Dawn
I won't
is-
lie. It's
I like what Vex was cooking there.
Yeah, I
He
was
was
just
a
saying,
sun
like
pirate, so it's all about the dawn.
it's like a different Dawn though, because like you know, for Tom it was like the DON, but now it's like the DAWN.
yeah.
The Eternal Dawn. Shout out to those guys. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you have not already.
Yes, please.
Who are those guys?
Goats, nothing but goats. But yeah, it's cool to see
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
they
full
like them
straw
like that.
hat. It's cool to see the full straw hats get their like like their 20 and 40 years later like best and worst timeline. So like it's like a completed full like sequence of knowledge, and I'm glad we have that now.
I agree.
The 7th question, if you guys are wanting to move on to that one.
Yeah, I got you. I'll read this one.
This one is built for you, Lucas.
It is. I've been counting certain words that Oda used in the SBS from volume 4 to up to volume 106. Here's the results. Poop or poo, 13 times. Boobs, 19 times. Penis, 36 times. What the heck exactly is the SBS? Yeah, I just wanted to say all this on stream. No, but he
It's recording Oda.
I have to add, the next question is, hello, Oda Sensei. In chapter 1045 of volume 103, Luffy used a technique called Gummo Gummo no Giant. But how did his clothes and even his sandals get gigantic too? Please tell us. He said, okay, listen well here, Yuma-kun. If Luffy's clothes gets ripped off when he gigantifies, his dick's gonna come out. Perfect SBS questions.
This is
It's
hilarious.
It's an old SBS. It was also, I think, based on Little Garden years ago. Someone asked him the same question. He says, "Because I have an issue of putting full nudity on in my manga."
Mhm.
It's funny. He just
The way that I was like when I was reading through this, he's like, now listen well here, young kid, because it's like it said like that the writer is younger, and he's like, if Luffy's clothes get ripped off when he gigantifies, his dick's gonna be out, and I'm just like, this is peak Oda.
Orders. Peak Oda, yeah.
Peak, like absolutely peak Oda. I did want to focus a little bit on the previous one where he was talking about boobs and poo poo and stuff as well, because when he answered it, he's like, oh, okay, are you for real? And then he's like, he was saying like, don't read into it too much, but then he says for a second there, if there, he said, my ideal SBS is that that he's thought of is quite like a forest with sunlight filtering through the trees, a clean space filled with little birds and squirrels like that are playing around. And I don't know, like the theory brain in me is like peeling apart every single word, and I'm like, what's the direct translations? Let me get like, and I'm just like, is there something to read into there? You know what I mean? Like I go full Charlie Day with like in between the pegboards with like all the like sticky notes
There
and
is.
stuff. So I don't like.
It's hinting at the true meeting between Frankie and Kuma on Sabayori, with the light coming through the trees and the birds all around Kuma. Tell me more.
But yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if anybody else, you know, in the community or any other theorists were like reading through that one and going like, ha ha ha, this is funny, classic silly Oda, and then he like got serious for a moment, and you're like, wait, is he cooking? You know what I mean? Or am I just like, or is that like something that's broken inside of me? Like every word that comes out of this man, I'm like, is this a hint? Is this
Cooking?
every time I say to myself, I really hope none of the Straw Hats will be unalive. And then Lucas speaks about Frankie, and I'm saying, oh, Frankie might be a good candidate if Lucas
You
keeps
son
on
of a
going
gun.
that way.
You son of a gun. Listen
I'm
here,
here for
dude.
it.
This.
I mean, what?
Betrayal. My whole crew betrayed me right now.
J'accuse.
Shock you.
Oh my goodness. This next one I'm actually possibly the most excited about.
Same.
Because it involves the East Blue a little bit. And Dill
mean,
as
that
well
bold?
as Dill as well as Lucas, as well as myself and a few other goats in the Eternal Dawn crew, as well as community, are starting a new One Piece Dungeons and Dragons adventure that takes place in the East Blue, which you can come check out live this Sunday at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
EST. Correct. Cool. Nailed it. But yeah, this is a question talking about the tailor who actually makes the suits for the Gorosei. And this guy is a goat. I can already tell. Look at this guy. What a Giga
You're
Chad.
mighty.
But
we found out of a new kingdom in the East Blue, though, dude. That is huge. The Nagagatsu Kingdom, the Leather Boots Kingdom.
Yeah, I was watching Tekking talking about some of this stuff. Just like I put him on. I could just listen to Tekking go off for hours, but I put him on while I was doing some chores the other day when this information first came out. And apparently there's like some ties to Italy, because obviously like, Giorgio Armani, and then like Italy is shaped like a boot. So this being called the Leather Boot, Kingdom as well. So I think
I get it.
that's kind of cool. Yeah. So we get like a little Italy in East Blue, which is pretty hype. But I always love when we get a new kingdom, and we got a few, with all of this tertiary information, like one in the south, I think, and one in the west. This is one in the east, and then we got one in the Grand Line as well. So we've got a few different, I love that, because I'm somebody who makes maps, in the One Piece world for One Piece D&D and stuff. It's just more shit to cook on,
Oh yeah, more places to see.
This is a lot of fun. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. And this guy is the king of drip, apparently. So huge shout outs to Nyornio and Yarmani.
Yeah, he's part of the Yon Tailors. I'm telling you. We got the Yon Cooks confirmed. There's going to be a group of tailors as well. The Yon Tailors.
Well, actually, I did some research on it, and there might be something in this arc that inspiration, because while Giorgio Armani, I wanted to see if there was something interesting. It's the location where he's from, where he's born and he grew up. And it's basically, in Italy, it's known as the place where the Roman founded their military in 218 BCE to fight against the French Celtics, the Gauls, which, we've got a lot of stuff in Elbaf right now for the Celtic stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that was one thing I found.
The ancient kingdom. I'm here for it.
And what's interesting is the elevation of that town. It is exactly 200 feet. Which I find very interesting in this story.
It's almost like there's a flood coming or something.
Yeah. But anyways, I was just trying to look around stuff. It's the only thing that popped the mind, the fact that, he did a call for, Giorgio Armani. I said,
oh, yeah.
Definitely it's not with the closing.
I love JJ's energy in the chat. It said Yarmani might be one of the most important characters in the story. What if it comes down to in order to take down the Gorosei, there's some sort of hidden I don't know. It'd be so funny if he was, but I love how people drip scale individuals. There's a whole bunch of people who go fit versus fit with certain characters, because it's more fun in my opinion than power scaling. Or any of that, and the Gorosei obviously have a unique style of their own, and this is the source of that. And it's just so cool. I love the little tiny bits of world building we get, and this guy's design is hilarious. If you have not seen him, chat, Google this. It's so funny.
Google Nyormani.
Lucas trying his absolute hardest.
Dude, it's a made up name, man. Normani.
Yeah, but this guy's definitely a mink, right? Or do you think he's, or is there something?
It's like Mary. He styles his hair with cat ears in it. Or was Mary a mink? I think Mary is a mink.
No.
Oh, I don't think we get that confident. But this guy's got like a scruff all on his arms and stuff too. You see this like in the
Yeah.
art? He's covered in fur. Like this guy's,
Yeah.
I think this guy could be, unless he's wearing like a legit suit, in which case I don't want to read too much into that. But like, so
You don't want to read about his fursuit?
I'm hoping he's a mink, you know? Like,
No, bro.
There is-
He custom made that himself, just like
oh
the
my
Gora's
God.
suit.
So
This is
so
my
I have
fursuit. It costs about $3,000.
Y'all want
Yeah,
to
it's a
hear,
designer fursuit.
y'all want to
So
hear
I-
real tin foil? I'll cook after Cube. Go ahead, bro.
so there's one thing it said, you know, like he only like dresses the Gorosei. Now that he put that, who else did he dress? Because we know that the fact that he said that he dressed someone else in the Gorosei. Because that's an interesting. That was
Well,
another
he
one
would have
thing that
just
caught
had
my-
to make Garling's drip.
Yeah.
So this dude's like freshly just made like a suit for Garling, presumably, right?
Do you
I'm
think
just
he
saying, I
meowed in between taking his
Oh,
measurements?
Stop. No, okay, but no, here's
I
the
gotta
real
use my
tin
cat
foil.
box.
Here's the real tin foil. Are you guys ready for this? This is the crazy lengths that like I go to at times in my brain that I don't always say out loud on stream. But you know, I'm saying this in confidence, y'all. Don't judge me. But like, because we don't know if he's actually a mink or if he is potentially just wearing a suit crafted by himself that gives him animal-like features. Maybe this is Oda hinting at the fact that the Gorosei themselves are not mythical Zoans, but are just humans that have like a suit of abilities, you know, that resemble mythical Zoans, like an animal-like form. Am I cooking? Probably not. Probably not.
Potentially.
but-
I mean, maybe it's something similar to the raid suit. I've always said it's quite interesting that Garling came back dripped just like Saturn, like he was giving Saturn's raid suit. So you might not be completely wrong.
Yo, Kush Daddy in the chat is wild.
Oh my god.
That is so funny. But I think it's like it's really
Well,
interesting
we-
because that's like a lot of the discourse is like, oh, they're devil fruit users. They're not devil fruit users, this and that. And I've seen it. It's like it's been ever since like, you know, the mid 1080s. People have been talking about this very passionately. Is this a little bit more fuel for the fire? Is all
I
I'm
think
saying.
so.
Maybe.
Like I what you're saying makes sense, especially with like what we think is prevalent now with Emu lending them their power.
Yo, mythic furries is crazy.
I have the mythical furry Nomi.
I mean, dude, imagine that would be crazy. But actually, when their names are the yokais, it's just the name of their suit. I would be dead.
Bro, no, I
I
was
mean-
getting given back.
And the jacket
my
food was
goodness.
introduced in the Flamingo's arc, where he
man,
talked about the world government. You know,
Guys, if Luke
Oh,
so funny. But like again, it's an
repeat
SBS thing.
everything you
Don't
just
read too
said
much into
because
it, right?
the stream did not hear you.
Crazy. I was saying that like Lucas has a track record of mentioning the jacket fruit on YouTube
Son
and
of a
it going
bitch.
semi-viral. Because Q brought it up, I was like, "Yo, if he says it in the mirror 3 times fast, you know, like this video like will pop off." Like,
Yeah, I'd have no idea what is up with my curse of the jacket.
you just gotta
Say it
say it
one
one
more
more time. Yeah.
Jacket.
Like-
oh shit, stream just crashed.
Kelly and Bobby Funk. Kelly and Bobby Funk. So, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Let's go.
Let's go, babies. Reader, Oda Sensei, Kiso. Among the 9 vice admirals that went to Egghead, there's one that looks similar to Rear Admiral Kadar, who appeared in the Fishman Island Past flashback. Did he get promoted? Also, please tell us the profiles of the other vice admirals as well. Oda, you're referring to Hound, right? It's true that he looks like Kadar, but they are different persons. Please forgive me for the rough sketches, but with the exception of Vice Admiral Doberman, who was introduced in the past, here are the profiles of the other 8 vice admirals. Vice Admiral Pomsky ate the Rocco no Mi, or otter fruit, and
Sick.
became a sea otter human. He strikes a powerful attack with a seashell. Yeah, that's such a sick fruit. Vice Admiral Dahl is a martial artist with a rock and roll soul and best waifu. Vice Admiral Sosa can bite with his hands and uses the Earth Tea fist style.
That's wild.
And then he explains the etymology of his name. Tosakin, which is Earth Tea Fist, is a play on Tosakin, Tosa dog breed. Tosa is the Japanese fighting dog breed that Tosa's name is most likely based on. Then we have Vice Admiral Urban. He ate the Susu no Mi, or cannon fruit, or the Susu no Mi, or cannon fruit, and became an artillery human. The top of his head can become a cannon. Vice Admiral Bluegrass. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like it's important to stress the T, because we have a susu no Mi, which is the soot fruit. So you have to say, yeah. I just feel like it's important, so you don't get the two mixed up,
Oh yes, of course. Next up is the Vice Admiral Bluegrass, obviously the MVP from the Marines of the Egghead arc. Ate the Nori no Mi, or ride fruit, and become a piloting human. She can turn any living thing or object within her hockey range into her vehicles. She's like an older sister to Suru. The hockey range is crazy. That is some crazy implication.
I think so Artur translated it differently, and it's just that things with lesser hockey than her. So I feel like that's probably the better translation. I don't know. I think so as well, if I'm being honest. When you say that, it makes more sense. Next up is, Vice Admiral Hound, who ate the Ino no Mi model hound, or the hunting dog. He's on the same class year with Smoker. Very interesting. Then is Vice Admiral Red King. He is famous for being one-shotted by Frankie. Vice Admiral Guillotine. The blade on his head can be thrown like a boomerang. Okay, fine. Vice Admiral Red King, he punches with his steam engine-powered right knuckle. Any comments on the Vice Admirals, boys? I think a lot of their designs are pretty sick, and it feeds into like the whole dog theme, because we saw like Dalmatian and Hound got introduced earlier, and then like I feel like we're gonna get like Vice Admiral Pongo and like I don't like, you know what I mean? Like he keeps naming a lot of them after dogs. I think the otter is sick, like that.
Yes,
like Pomsky. That's like, that is such a cool fruit, and we've seen very few aquatic. There's like aquatic adjacent zoans, like a salamander. Is an amphibian, so like Smiley had like it was an artificial one,
axolotl fruit. It was not artificial.
No, it was real.
Yeah, we saw it.
Either way,
it manifested in front of him.
No, it was real.
Either way, it's still really cool, right?
Oh yeah, okay. Either way, yeah, okay, that way, okay.
It literally doesn't matter, but I still think it's like really cool that like this, because like the fish type with Kaido, and then like we have so few, I could count it on one hand.
Yeah,
like semi-aquatic or aquatic adjacent zoans. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's not many of them, so I love seeing them too. I'm in the same boat, Vex. This was fucking awesome for me.
Man, it's true. Like we don't have that many aquatic beings. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna slander you guys, but I gave up. I'll say this: dolls, her stocks are getting more and more interesting. I'm saying this. I feel like she's going to be an important and certain flashback. Talking about Saul, wanting the sword members for some reason, that weird discussion of Kizaru, not calling Saturn by his real name, like the respect name. Now that rock and roll soul. And every time we saw someone.
Was her mentor, right? Am I mistaken, or is that's what it was saying? Right?
Yeah.
Her superior officer.
Her superior, like instructor, superior, just like that. And then you have this whole thing of any person we've seen with Vykthor, the rock and roll theme or the punk rock theme in cover arts, are either former Mad or former Rock. So I just found her like very interesting. as a
Or they're on
character.
kids' crew and they're
Yeah.
not significant to
true.
the story whatsoever. I don't know.
And they're dead.
For me, the fact that there was like cool stuff to say about every single one of these vice admirals, and then all we get from Doll is that she's got a rock and roll soul. Is that obviously? I think if she is important, we're not supposed to know about it yet because that feels
Yeah.
like a nothing answer. You
Oh,
know, the
definitely.
rest of these got like something. She got nothing. So I feel
Yeah.
like we're gonna get more from her later, or she's just not important. But like I'm hoping that we just get more from her later. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
assume we will.
Yeah, I mean, come on, she's a doll. I had to.
Did you though?
Yes.
I think that the
He
the
said
red
yes.
fruit is red fruit is really really interesting though, and like I'm interested to know what the actual like legit translation is because like Nak was saying, hockey range would be crazy if we started like scale people like there's it's just really interesting if we start to get to the point where like because we saw Shanks do his like Wi-Fi hockey from like miles away, presumably people were thinking like I don't know, someone like tried to like figure out how tall the mountain on one, and especially with like seeing like Zunacia and like there's Oda's really bad with measurements like that and stuff, so I don't know but like I'm more inclined to believe that it's just like any, which was the translation that it
Yeah.
seemed more correct to me. But if it is hockey range, that's crazy
That's insane.
because
This is
Luffy knocked out
definitely-
like 10,000 people at Fishman Island, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, we've seen other fruits as well that works in a certain range, like Viola's fruit as well. Her clairvoyance works in in a certain territory. Then you have Lost fruit as well.
oh yeah, he flipped the whole galleon on top of like a chunk of Pug Hazard. Like that was like right after. Like, yeah, so it's really interesting to think about. Again, I don't think hockey range is like the actual translation for it, but it'd be kind of weird. It'd be kind of cool if it was more for power scalers to try to cling to. You know.
I mean, we do know that with hockey and devil fruits, especially since the end of Wano, Oda is gonna have to do something to, up the scale. So this could be this introduction to this whole other aspect to the power system that we never realized.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, it's interesting. I don't want to talk about Bluegrass too much though, because I see Dak in the chat, and I know this is like his least favorite character possibly in all of One Piece. But really interesting. I always like to see some more vice admirals. These are all people who we could assume are hockey users because of what was said previously. So it's interesting. I don't think any of them are going to continue to be important, but it's interesting that there's like a tie to Suru here, and I just like some of their designs. I think it's pretty
I do
fun.
too. I remember when they first showed up on Egghead and everyone was freaking out. 9 Vice Admirals! Like,
I don't understand why Dak doesn't like Bluegrass. I heard it. She's the type of woman that can ride you crazy.
Jesus
stop.
Christ, dude.
Bro, stop.
There's another English word you could have used there, and it was drive, and it would have sounded less wrong.
Hey man, listen. You can't fight against the slander. The slander comes in different forms, my brother.
Knack, you said that Red King guy. You mean the Vice Admiral that got one-shotted by Frankie?
I'm so glad your mic cut out. Red King solos. Red King's him. I love him.
Red
He's
King
great.
got soloed by Frankie? You're right. That is true.
Dak-
Bruh.
Dak's response: Bluegrass's fruit shouldn't exist.
So I think it's interesting that it specifies at least that it has to be a living thing that she can use her fruit ability on. So she can't just go up to like a non like an inanimate object and turn it into like a bus or something like so that's kind of cool.
She did that to Kuma.
It's not a
Kuma's
boulder.
alive.
Well, a pacifista.
Well, then that means that maybe there's 28 grams of soul in them, which would be a terrifying implication. If
Yeah, that is a
but-
terrifying implication. Oh, no, it says living thing
So
or object within her hockey
Oh,
range,
does
so-
it?
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
tripping?
Yeah, remember she took inorganic stuff in Egghead as well. She wrote them.
So does this mean objects can have hockey? Like we see Enma, it kind of flexes its own or it pulls like the user's hockey, so she wouldn't be able to do this to Enma maybe. What
Also,
other objects might have hockey?
That was a mechanized sea beast, though, so it's cybernetic. So that still counts as a living thing, at least in my book.
I mean, so
if
whenever York had transported the mother flame to Marie's, they had read the analytics whenever it came back, and that they had said that it had more energy coming back, which is how they knew that she had taken some of the mother flame portion. I don't think that a normal living thing would be able to house the mother flame.
I mean, we know that the mechanized sea beasts have some sort of life still within them because of what Lilith said, is they're still their instinct, but I don't know. I'm just thinking of what objects, other than potentially maybe Enma or even Charlie's crystal ball, which is something I've been bringing up a whole lot. Homies, yeah, homies could contain hockey, but I feel like they're living partially because there's a soul.
Yeah, they have souls inside them, yeah. So
but what objects could have hockey is an interesting thing.
Straw hat, baby.
It's weird how it's worded, and again, we don't have an official translation. That's just what my brain gets stuck on.
Yeah. So we are on the last part of the SBS now. Final question. Reader, Odachi, Garchu, please tell us the former occupations of Fujitora and Ryukugia. Oda, all right. Just as they became the ones in charge for the defense of affiliated nations to the world government through the system called World Military Draft, these two were handpicked by the Marines. For Green Bull, Aramaki hails from the South Blue. He was a police officer from the Taya Kingdom and caused a great incident involving a woman and got thrown into prison. His reputation of possessing extraordinary strength reached the government. He got drafted into the Marines and immediately got a special promotion to Admiral. Fujitora, Isho hails from the West Blue. He incurred losses on a gambling house in Twin Snake Island, and the place he was working as a bodyguard was bought by the world government with a large sum of money. Excuse me. Isho was a former defense military chief in the Aoi Kingdom that once existed in the Grand Line. The Aoi Kingdom was destroyed because of the war, and he became a significant war criminal. The government will eventually be made aware of this fact. Spicy as fuck with Fujitora stuff.
Dude, I'm saying it. We're gonna get soon the reveal of his connection with God Valley.
So what I'm reading is that there's an updated translation on this Reddit post. I don't know if this is if there was just a mess up, but this says that the world government was aware of the fact that he was a major war criminal because of the Aoi Kingdom War, and so the thing, I don't know. I don't think that this goes back to me saying what I said before. If it's in the SBS, I don't think it's super important. So I don't think that they will find. I think they already know.
Yeah,
because of this other translation.
Do you really think the world government have an issue? Yeah, exactly. They don't care if it's a war criminal.
That's what we just learned. Aramaki was in prison for. Yeah, they definitely do not have a problem.
The allegations for
never
sure.
beating the allegations, man. That is crazy to confirm in an SBS.
Which does add some more context to his speech with Fujitora during the reverie.
It's talking about a pretty lady and how he hasn't eaten food, but he would eat it if
how he hasn't eaten food in years, but if a pretty woman fed him, he would eat it.
Yeah, he's a little scummy. I don't know. I've seen some people thinking that he was framed and stuff, and I'm just come on, man.
Come on,
now. He was framed,
bro.
But no, I think it does tie in with the tattoo that he has and the connection to the story it tells.
Bro, I've been on VC with Knack, so much these past couple of days since this information dropped, and he keeps saying Fushiguro instead of Fujitoro. He's been so JJK pilled. It's so funny. But, so he just put it in chat, and I'm dying. That is amazing. he's gonna commit to the bit. I love it.
I love Knack being so JJK filled in general. Like,
I know, right? But I think this is pretty cool. I really want. I'm glad that we got like tidbits, but I really want to hear more about Fuji. I was hoping that it was the translation was that the government will find out soon, because that means that we'll get like a flashback on him in panels. But reading the other translation and that it's like updated, like I'm pretty sure we're not gonna be getting anything related to that. But it would be sick if we got like a side story of like Fujitora's whole story, you know.
that would be cool.
Yeah, not for. I think for right now we won't get any of it. But I won't lie. With Green Bull, I'm in both camps. I don't know where he's going with that character, but I'll say this: if his kingdom lost the war, Fujitora's kingdom lost the war, the only reason why he's labeled as a war criminal is because he just lost that war.
I think he probably dropped a meteor on the kingdom, and that's why it's gone.
You guys want to fight? I'll show you a fight. Like, fight for your lives, boys.
I wouldn't. I was gonna say.
Leave
I wouldn't be
conventions.
shocked. I wouldn't be shocked we might get a similar Kuma storyline. You know, the nickname that he was given for a couple of years did not fit the character because it's just propaganda. But I mean, for sure, it makes sense. You know, the way he was shown in Dressrosa.
Dressrosa. We are on to the Beaver cards now, boys. And first one up is Monkey D. Garp. His epithet is Garp the Fist, the hero of the Marines, the legendary Marine.
Epitaph is on your gravestone. Don't say that.
Whatever.
No, there's different. Yeah, there's different implications.
On his gravestone is frozen to death.
No.
No. Haki, he has all three types: armament, observation, and conquerors. He is
That's cool.
genus is the clan of DE. Affiliations: Marine Headquarters, Vice Admiral. Birthday: go to birthday, May 2nd. Age: 78. Height: 287 centimeters. Favorite food: senbei, which is Japanese rice crackers, and curry. Disliked food: bell pepper hobby and senbei. Like,
Wait, what? Oh,
yeah, that's what it says. Party animal team.
I think hobby is a different. It's meant to be a different thing. His disliked food and drink is just bell pepper.
Oh yeah,
and then
there
his
was no
hobby-
enter yet. It's
Yeah, and
rice
his
crackers.
hobby is just rice crackers. That's a
crackers,
full
yeah.
hobby of this man. He's a rice cracker enthusiast. Like,
His party animal theme is the Saint Bernard dog breed. Place of
That's so
origin
cute.
is the Goa Kingdom. Justice motto: my justice. Cross guild bounty: about 3 billion berries. And then his voice actor is Hiroshi Naka. A lot of cool stuff here, guys. A lot of cool stuff. Flavored text. Triggered by the Summit War, the legendary Marine who was supposed to retire from the front lines has instead become more active than ever, freely executing justice. He energetically engages in the training of young soldiers who will bear the future of the Marine and is adored by the younger members of the Sword, including Kube and Homepo. Of course, his strength that cornered Roger remains intact. Until now, he has continuously honed his skills, causing pirates to tremble even now with just his own power.
bro's him.
Bro is him, for sure. We diving into the next one already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything too majorly revealed there. I remember people were trying to say Garp didn't have Conquerors, and then like pointing out all the black hockey and stuff on the Galaxy Impact panel, and all those people can eat and kick rocks.
Yeah.
Confirmed Conqueror.
Yeah.
Notice the same thing every time.
But
Same thing we had with Shanks.
I do want to bring up his justice is
Yeah.
his own justice, which
my
is
justice.
which is easily and not so easily like able to be figured out is because it's whatever he believes is morally right.
This is a big
It's
fact.
also pretty based to have rice crackers as your hobby. Like as a person who's a bread and cheese enthusiast, like I get it. Respect.
Respect.
And he also fits with the dog theme of the vice admirals, being like that a Saint Bernard like is kind of like his like a animal analogous or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I love the little bit of tidbits we got about Dark Really. The My Justice though deal that is the spiciest thing from his Weaver card in my opinion, because like I think we all thought he followed his own brand of justice, so getting that confirmation is nice. Yeah. So Kube, the one, the only epithet, hero of the Marines. Hockey, armament, and observation. Affiliations: former member of the Alvida Pirates, where he was the navigator and chore boy, and Marine HQ captain. Special Secret Force sword member. Gender: male. Birthday also goated, May 13th. Age: 18. Height: 167 centimeters. Flower theme is the purple or red clover. Trifolium protens is its scientific name. Place of origin, this is huge. The East Blue Satsorozo Kingdom. It's a pun of Sa-Sodo-Zo, meaning, well then, let's go fishing. And his cross guild bounty is 500 million, my bad, berries.
So he's basically Usopp level.
Respectable.
Respectable.
I will give this
ranking in them.
Yeah. I also give it a small W to me, but especially to Nak, because he helped me work on that. We've been looking into Kobe's backstory and how he described his upbringing. And we did talk about most likely he's from some sort of kingdom, so we're getting an answer on that, like where he's from. So that's cool.
Yeah, well, in his introduction, he talks about how he was going out. I like that. This is funny because it ties back to his introduction. When he was telling Luffy the reason he got kidnapped is because he was going fishing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like he's like, I went
And
out
then
to
it's
go
so
fishing,
funny.
and then I got
but then there's so countering stuff. Like Alvida says, I just happened to come across you while I was sailing. She was on a small ship going specific for Kobe, and then Luffy made that comment of, when did you escape? You've been here for like more than a year. And then he looks down to the ground, which is weird. So I've always said, what if he doesn't want to go back home? He'd rather be, on the Alvida's ship. So it's quite interesting that he's from a kingdom. And he is way too fat when we saw him to be a skinny orphan kid.
Oh my god.
You know
I
what
think
mean?
it's funny that the whole time at Hachinosu, after like he broke out and stuff, we're like, why do you still have this ball and chain? Like, why don't you just break it? Like, I don't get it. If you can do like honesty impact shit, like why? And in the Vivre card, the picture we get, he still has
Still
it on.
carrying
And I'm just
it,
like, "Man, that's so funny to me.
So his flavored text is, moving forward with honest justice towards the future, a new hero of the Marine headquarters. Having gained experience in the Paramount War, he has grown into a member of the Marine Headquarters Special Secret Forces, SWORD. As a Marine Headquarters captain, after his accomplishments in the Rocky Port incident, he has come to be known as a hero by the people. However, Kobe himself has neither pride nor arrogance about this title. His observation hockey, which bloomed in moments of crisis, allows him to sense the dangers of people in need. His honest fist, trained tirelessly through drills, are welded solely for the purpose of rescuing the powerless.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah,
That's a goat.
That's our Kobe.
that's our
To
Kobe, baby.
quote a character that excuse me, my dog is going crazy.
Rosie loves him too.
Yeah, that's Rosie saying, "That's Kobe, my dog."
Yeah. Kobe.
Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. To the tune of Baggy, Baggy, Baggy.
Baggy. Oh, good stuff. Next up, Beaver Car, Borsalino. 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 Epithet. Kizaru. Devil Fruit, the Pika Pika no Mi. Hockey, Armament Hockey, and Observation Hockey. Age, 58. Height, 302 centimeters. Favorite food and drink, miso ramen, ginger, banana. Disliked food and drink, lemon. Hobby, grilling food. Animal fee, chimpanzee. Place of origin, North Blue. Justice motto, unclear justice. Cross-guild bounty, about 3 billion berries. One of Kizaru's favorite foods is bananas, and his representative animal is a chimpanzee. Goes with his alias, Yellow Monkey. Flavor text, friendship or mission. The admiral who carries the burden of unclear justice. This admiral, known for his nonchalant demeanor, has long upheld his own unique form of justice. However, this mission was anything but straightforward. His task was the assassination of his best friend, Vegapunk. As he set out on this difficult assignment, he struggled to suppress the turmoil within his heart. He resolved to remain steadfast in his position as Admiral Kizaru, determined to maintain his principles. Yet, even as he attempted to carry out his duties calmly, the unshakable anguish he felt could not be hidden. With a heavy heart, he ultimately had to take the life of his best friend. The sunglasses he now wears remain clouded, a reflection of his ongoing inner turmoil.
The goat.
The goat. Who wants to read the next few? I gotta mute up for a second. Don't all volunteer at once.
Yeah.
I'm assuming my dog is not gonna go crazy. She's looking at me right now. Yeah, I should be good too. But yeah, I think this is really cool. Us getting more from we've already got a good bit of information on Kizaru Borsellino, but mad amount of respect. He's got a birthday coming up actually too, so that's kind of cool. But next up we have Hibari. She has armament and observation hockey. Her affiliations are Marine HQ Commander and Secret Special Force Sword Member. Gender female, birthday January 18th, age 17, height 165 centimeters, zodiac Capricorn, blood type F. She's from the North Blue, and her favorite food and drink is honey. And her cross-guild bounty is about 200 million. And then it tells us her Japanese voice actor, which is Mikami Shiori. I think this is pretty cool because I always love seeing more people from the North Blue because I run a One Piece D&D campaign setting in the North Blue, but she's too young to show up in group 2. But it's just interesting seeing more love for the strongest sea. I don't think we figured out anything that we didn't, like, anything crucial. But doesn't she have like a teddy bear named Kobe or whatever? And then her favorite food or drink being honey is like, it's like a Winnie the Pooh thing, right?
Yeah. There's also that comment, about her ocean origin and blood type are exactly the same as Sakazuki, which, it is the father and daughter allegations that they've been fighting for years now.
Pretty interesting.
That's what I was going to bring up whenever Vec said that, is that, yeah, we might not run into Hibari in the campaign, but we could run into her parents. Unfortunately for us, we are pirates.
Yeah, maybe this
No,
is
there's
spoilers
still-
for no.
There's still 8 years in between where Group 2 is and when Hibari would be born.
Yeah, so I think it's just really cool. She's one of the youngest users of armament and observation that we have confirmed, if I recall correctly. One of. I don't think she's
I was
like
about
the
to say,
youngest, but she's
Kobe
pretty
had-
close to the youngest.
Kobe unlocked observation at 16 during Marineford.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have confirmation of him having armament back then. So she's not the youngest, but she's pretty dang close to.
She's among the
being, like,
youngest to have both types. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, she's among the youngest.
It's pretty cracked. So yeah, that's kind of goated. We didn't get any flavor text on her, like we did with some of the other entrants. So we can move right on to the next card, which is the one and the only Ginny. Former intern, former eighth consort of a celestial dragon. And she has Revolutionary Army affiliations. She was a former commander of the East Army. She was affiliated with the Wind Grandma, Dragon's main ship. Her birthday was October 21st. Her age was 39 at her unaliving 12 years ago. She was 174 centimeters, and her zodiac was Libra, blood type F. And then it says her place of origin is in the Grand Line, the Poruco Kingdom, I'm assuming. Yeah, Kingdom. Favorite drink is unboned meat, which is a really weird way of wording that. Her bounty was 190 million berries back when she was a commander of the Revs. So this is kind of cool.
That unboned meat. That's all I gotta say.
Chill, bro.
So are we going to talk about the number of people in the story that dies at the age of 39 years old?
No, not this time.
It is crazy. The amount of them who die exactly at the age of 39 years old.
Yeah, it's like
Said
the
we're not gonna
27
talk
club.
about it this time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm Garp. You can't tell me no.
But yeah, she would have just had a birthday. So I mean, rest in peace to Ginny, the goat. Some sick art of her here, and yeah, that's it's a little bit solemn to see, you know, this info now. Like after everything that we got, cannot wait for the Kube flashback in the anime when it returns. You know, after April and all that. So this is kind of cool. Not much more to say though on this one, so we can go ahead and move right on. And next up is the GOAT, the Giga Chad, the man himself. We get Helmet Bow, guys. Confirmed armament hockey user, lieutenant commander, and a member of Sword. Male, birthday is July 16th, age is 22, height is 179 centimeters. Favorite food / drink is a luxurious steak or caviar. And he dislikes sweet onigiri. He likes fashion and eating while walking. His animal theme is a slimmed African wild dog. His place of origin is Shellstown, East Blue, obviously. And his bounty is 100 million berries for the Cross Guild.
I think that's poetic on two ends. His animal is along the lines of the animal that he had that Zoro killed during Shellstown, and he dislikes sweet onigiri, which Zoro reluctantly ate, even though it smashed into the ground.
Yeah, man. He really has an issue with that girl, Rika.
Yeah.
It's also poetic that he has a dog as his animal theme, meaning that he will absolutely achieve Vice Admiral status in no time. It's foretold. That's what that tells me. It's not an agenda.
Off screen.
It's not an agenda. It's a fact.
I mean, he's also, people have to forget, you know, like obviously I'm not as a big fan of Almepa as some people in this VC are, in this server is, but I said he is a student of Garp, so he is going to go somewhere. Not as far as Kube, but still.
Yeah.
So it makes
it's also
sense.
interesting to know that he wears the visor, so I don't know, like that may, like, I don't know if that's like supposed to like do something to help him, but like he doesn't have observation hockey. He's only confirmed to have armament, so that's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, he's not built like that, so that means he can't be a vice admiral because they have all of them.
Sure, whatever your agenda is, I'm here for it. You could be there for mine.
Hey,
it'd be dope. But so I could spend an entire stream talking about this greatness here, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next entrant, which is that boy Prince Groose. So we already knew about his devil fruit, which is the Gunyo Gunyo no Mi, or the Glorp Glorp fruit, one of the weirdest names for a devil fruit we've ever gotten. He is both armament and observation hockey. He is a rear admiral with the Marines and a member of Sword. Male. Birthday is actually one day before Ginny's, I think, October 20th. Yeah. Age 29, height 205 centimeters, zodiac sign Libra, place of origin West Blue. It does not specify a kingdom. His favorite food or drink is potato chips, and his bounty is 500 mil with the Cross Guild. Nothing too phenomenal to focus on here, except that, like, I saw Tekking bring this up, is like in the battleship bags, like flashback that we got recently in the most recent episode of the anime before they went on break, and we got the fan letter. It shows Groose in the background when Kube is like listening to Garp's lecture. Groose is so much older than Kube, so like Groose would have been like 27 years old, and he's not wearing a justice cloak. He's just in like the normal enlisted like outfit, like not like a, so anyone who's ensign or above can wear the justice cloak. So this dude did quite a climb as well in like the same time that Kube did. So a little bit to read into there, but he is much older. He would have been like 27, whereas Kube would have been 16, to Kube being 18 now and Groose being 29 now. So that's interesting. Also, he's a sick fruit. Like, it's got a weird name, but I love this little art where he's got like a little guy, you know, just hanging out. Like,
Yeah.
then we get. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, especially with their age, we've been talking about that, but definitely we're gonna find out more about Sword after the God Valley stuff, because it's so interesting how all of them are under the age of 35. From the ones we know, no older type of Sword members, which is interesting. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, I don't know what the oldest. I think Drake would probably be the oldest. I don't have his age right in front of me yet. I don't know if he gets detailed in these. He might be later on. But next up is Kujaku, who has the Muchi Muchi no Mi, or the Whip Whip fruit. She has both types of hockey, armament, and observation. She's a rear admiral and a sword member as well. Gender female. Birthday September 18th. Age 26. Height is 180 centimeters. She is a Virgo with a blood type X. She is from the North Blue, which makes sense. That's where Suru is from. Her favorite food / drink is juice and Western sweets, which is interesting. And she has the same bounty as other rear admirals, as 500 million for the Cross Guild. So yeah, this is again, nothing super crucial here. I think it kind of like, it's like whenever we had we didn't know about the missing Empress from Amazon Lily. People were taking Boa's age and like Shaki's age and like trying to like figure out, like, because there's a missing generation here in between Suru and Kujaku, but us now knowing for a fact she is 26 and Suru is, I believe she's like 1 year younger than Garp or something like that, which is
she has to be around
70s.
77, so something like Garp is 78, so she should be around the 78, 77.
Yeah, so like the missing link is presumably late 40s, mid 50s, somewhere around there. Whoever be, I don't know if we're gonna get that detailed in the story, but like I said earlier, love to see some more love for the North Blue, the strongest sea.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be fun. I think the fact that they're just prepping the field, so it'll be fun when we get more of them, because, like you said, there's not much to go on, but they're interesting. They're an interesting bunch, all of them.
Yeah, and a lot of people think because she has the seagull on her hat that there could be also some relation to Sengoku. I don't think that's out of the picture. I think that's pretty interesting, but who knows for sure. I was thinking we might have gotten a little bit more, but none of these other characters have like that flavor text that the first couple entrants had. So there's not much more to go into on this one. Next is huge though. This is an enormous. This is what I was looking forward to, probably the most out of the whole Vykthor card pack. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but next up is Marshall D. Teach himself. We get Blackbeard. Place of origin, Grand Line, at a place called Shadeport. which is kind of crazy. Devil fruit is the Yami Yami no Mi, dark fruit, and the Gura Gura no Mi, or the Tremor fruit. He is confirmed to have armament and observation haki, and we already knew he was of the D clan. His affiliations were with the Worst Generation, the Four Emperors. He is the Commodore of the Blackbeard Pirates. He was also a one of the warlords, but it doesn't mention that here. He was affiliated with the Moby Dick back when he was a Whitebeard commander, and now he is affiliated with the Saber of Zebek as his ship. His birthday is August 3rd. His age is 40. His height is 344 centimeters. His flower theme is the red spider lily. His occupation, if he wasn't a pirate, is an archaeologist. And it says liked island, spring in a summer island, which is that's such a specific thing, which is kind of crazy. And then it tells us his bounty, which we already know is 3,996,000,000 berries for the world government. Not as much information as I was hoping for, but it's still pretty cool.
That's not cheap. This is the one I wanted because remember that fight with Law? We didn't know if it was an animation issue, but they gave him the effect of Conqueror's Hockey almost. So this clarifies that definitely until now proven. There's no confirmation of him having Conqueror's Hockey.
Yeah, power scalers are punching air right now. That wasn't included here. I kind of figured though. Like we had a long discussion before about how like Roger was able to accomplish things with hockey alone, and that this might be the antithesis to what Roger. And so this person is going to try to, without conquerors, like do it with devil fruits, and just like climb his way to the top through devil fruits specifically. If he's not able to achieve the top through hockey alone, like somebody else was, maybe that's his way in, which he's the only dude with 2 devil fruits that we know of. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. But we cooked on a stream a while back about that for a good bit.
Yeah, and also the fact that for some reason his attack had the red but didn't have any lightning coming out of it. It was just red beams out of it. So it's like it wasn't as similar as when we saw Roger do it with Whitebeard, or we saw Luffy and the Flamingo, those kind of stuff. So
yeah, so all these people who was clowning on me when I said he probably might not have conquerors, kick rocks. But did we already know the thing about the flower? I feel like we do that, right? The red spider lily.
No, because I think it's something he's added recently. Because if I'm not mistaken, when his viewer card came out years ago, data book, everything, he didn't do the whole flower thing. It was more only the hobbies and the stuff. It's only the last few years he's been adding the flowers.
Cool. So yeah, and I know that Lily, that there was a tie to, I think it was Robin who had a similar is either there's definitely a straw hat that this definitely I think because Luffy's was like a sunflower, right?
Yeah. I think it could be Robin.
Yeah, I think it was Robin. And with her being like a scholar and him wanting to have been an archaeologist if he were like not a pirate, like that kind of goes well. Yeah. So this is huge. I wonder what's up with Shadeport. Obviously like the dark fruit and then like the Shadeport, like he's setting up some through lines there, which I think is pretty cool. It doesn't give us like a name of an actual island or a kingdom that it would be affiliated with. It just says that it's in the Grand Line. So that's interesting. It doesn't even tell us like Paradise or New World. It just says Grand Line. So not anywhere near as much information as I was hoping for, but this was still pretty cool.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. They're playing on the whole. You remember back then when we got the whole Hashinosu thing about whatever they took for them, and people were debating on Buggy and Blackbeard. Well, fun fact, Buggy and Blackbeard are one of the few people who literally have their location of birth is just somewhere in the Grand Line, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, also, I thought for sure we'd get like a flavor text from him, but we did not, which is kind of crazy. But we did get flavor text from the next entrant on the Viva cards, so we'll move right along to Kuzan. Epithet is Aokiji, or blue pheasant. His devil fruit is the Hie Hie no Mi, or the Chill Chill fruit. He has confirmed armament and observation hockey. He does not have Conqueror's hockey listed here. His affiliations are former Marine Admiral and the 10th ship captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. Gender male. Affiliated ship Saber of Zebek. Birthday September 21st. Age 49. Height 298 centimeters. Favorite food or drink is sherry wine, and it says in parentheses Tio Pepe, which is, I guess, the brand. It's kind of sick. He likes dairy milk and coffee, and it says like his original blend. So does this guy make his own coffee? That's kind of sick. Like his dislike foods. He doesn't like complicated dishes, just like, I guess, like stuff that's got too much going on. His hobby is siesta, so he likes to take a nap or traveling freely with his bicycle. His animal theme is obviously a pheasant. Place of origin is the West Blue within the domain of Bespa Kingdom. And his bounty is currently being discussed in Marine HQ. So we didn't get like an actual reveal there. That's crazy because we don't really get like a non-answer too often in the Viva cards. That's more like a Q&A SBS type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then we have some flavor text info here. Having lost the duel, his command authority was handed over to Sakazuki. The justice that once guided him now drifts in the darkness, in quotes. Captain of the 10th ship of the Blackbeard Pirates. At the moment Kuzan turned his back on the Marine headquarters he had grown so familiar with, freed from the constraints of its regulations, he gained his freedom and wandered in search of new purpose. The destination he ultimately reached was none other than the Blackbeard Pirates. Even within the darkness, does the justice in Kuzan's heart still breathe? Well, question mark. Does it still breathe? His true intentions remain unknown. This is kind of spicy. This is kind of huge, actually. I love a lot of this. This might be my favorite of the Viva cards. How are you feeling on it?
But no, I really like it, especially now. It's usually you have to, when you get something with one of those admirals, you have to wait a time before they're in the story or you get a Viva card. I find, the timing, especially for Kuzan and Kizaru, it's still fresh in our minds. So for me, it's really interesting, especially the whole Kuzan stuff with the Blackbeard Pirate stuff. Right. Such a funny story. It's such an interesting storyline because we all believe that he's a double agent. But we're just waiting until we get that reveal, because we need to know, like, for who? Is he Sword? Is he Rev? Is he someone else? He's a wild card, Kuzan.
Yeah, and I think the fact that we didn't get a bounty is kind of huge here because if there is the whole double agent thing, wow, like,
What?
I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, obviously they'd still want to, like, portray that, like, he can't be forgiven to the rest of the world, especially to Blackbeard, so they would issue a bounty. But part of me is like, maybe they're delaying the process because I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, my thing is
I think
that
it's Sorry.
What's up, Bill?
I said I think he's waiting for the opportune moment to fully actualize his plans.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
And
the
I'll-
smarter move.
And also feel like if, because he was on that, we didn't ever see the front of the face, but it looked like to be Kuzan. The only person we've seen like that in the Marines is Kuzan. Same, everything the same, just from his back. X-Drake, when he was ready to reveal himself in the whole sword identity thing, 100%, he was revealed for bounty. So it could be that right now they're still prepping some stuff. Once his bounty is, it could also be like Also, it could be a way for them to give them the signal. You know, whatever Kuzan is supposed to do. What if he doesn't do anything until he's get his bounty? Like that, you know, like that could be the green light for Sword to make their move. If he is Sword
Yeah.
or whatever group he is represent, you know. That could
In the
also be
off
that.
chance, like he is like a legitimate like threat, like if he actually is somebody who is fully against the world government and who they think is like, I mean, like we saw that Doflamingo was able to boss around like Cypherpole and like, you know, kind of like push his own agenda and whatnot by pulling some strings with the world government because of the information that he knew. What do you think Kuzan could do? Could he have like a 5 billion berry bounty, like similar to like a Kainu?
Think of the information that admirals get. Like I'm
That's what I'm
convinced that
saying.
the whole pudding thing had to come from, and it makes sense. As an admiral, he would know more stuff about the Yonkos than a Weishammer would as well, or other people. That would
Yeah.
be such an advantage. Yeah, definitely.
So I
And
think that,
if-
especially with like Mihawk, sorry, just to cut in real quick, with Mihawk having a higher bounty than Buggy, it would be really interesting if this guy ended up having a higher bounty than Blackbeard.
Yeah. And also, you know what I'm wondering is, remember how Akainu did not even know when that Kizaru already left for his mission? They found out why, because it's a mission for the Gorosei. Imagine the other missions he's done for Gorosei. That maybe some of the other admirals don't know as much information on, you know? There might be this one thing that Blackbeard needs, or we need, that maybe even Kizaru and Akainu aren't aware because it was a mission for Kuzan from the Gorosei. Such a game changer type of, you know. Both Kizaru and Kuzan, whatever they're going to do in the story, their information could change a lot of stuff.
Yeah, in this flavor text, it's just like the way that it's worded. I don't know. It's like it's so hard not to read more into it, you know, especially when they put like justice and darkness in quotes every time that those phrases are used. So I'm hype. I cannot wait to get more from Kuzan. I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest things that we're going to get. Like obviously shit's going to be huge when we figure out more about Dragon, when we figure out more about Blackbeard, but like all of so many of these individuals, like it's like yes, we'll figure out more about the Revs, you know, when we get Dragon. We'll figure out more about like the Yonko, or like, you know, specifically the rest of the Blackbeard pirates, you know, like with any of that. But like this guy has so many different avenues that we can gain new information. It could change the way that we see so many different things instead of just like one faction, you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So this is huge.
Yeah, it's like I won't lie, I'm really liking the Viva card much more because it's where we are in the story. It's a bit more quantified, you know, especially since, you know, back then when we got the Viva card, it was a lot of those big ones we got in pre-time skip, and then nothing else since then, you know.
Yeah,
the
this
Guard
is the
Viva card
first-
is the Guard Viva card came around the time of Solar Bark, the first one we got, and we didn't get any new ones since then. So that's like, you know, 15 years ago.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm getting like the front row seat to like I feel like since I caught up, this is the first time I've seen it. So yeah, this is pretty dope. The next up we get fever cards on 4 of the Seraphim.
Yeah.
Which their epithet is the strongest form of humanity, which goes so hard. That's crazy. Like,
They're all Cell. They're all Cell from Dragon Ball.
so they are confirmed to all have via green blood the fruits that we thought they all had, that we were told that they all had. S-Snake has the Mero no Mi, aka the love fruit. As Hawk has the Supa no Mi, or the Dice fruit. As Shark has the Sui no Mi, or the Swim fruit. And S Bear has the Nikyu no Mi, or the Paw fruit, all through their green blood. They all 4 of them have armament and observation hockey, which is huge. They are all Seraphim, one of Boa, one of Mihawk, one of Jinbei, and one of Kuma. They obey the orders of the highest authority hierarch, which cannot be done by transponder snail. It makes sure that it brings that back up like it did in Egghead. And the hierarchy order goes as follows: from highest to lowest is the 5 elders, Vegapunks, aka Stella and the satellites, Centimaru, and then the authority chip holders. We have S Snake as the only female, and we have S Hawk, S Bear, and S Shark as males. Their birthdays are unknown, which is kind of crazy. And they appear to be 8 years old, but it says that they were born 2 years ago. We just don't get a specific day of that. Then it tells us their heights. S Snake is 208 centimeters. S Hawk is 212 centimeters. S Shark is 320 centimeters. And S Bear is enormous at 660 centimeters.
Damn.
That's literally almost Whitebeard, which is crazy. They have unknown zodiac types because we don't know their actual birthdays. And they each have individual blood types or green blood types. So S Snake and S Hawk are both S, which we'll talk about that here in a little second. S Shark is F, which fits with Jinbei's and Sanji's and Luffy's, I believe. And then S Bear is X. Their place of origin is obviously Egghead on the Grand Line in the New World. Favorite food or drinks for each of them. S Snake enjoys hot pot based. That's mad respect there. S Hawk likes grape juice, which is like Mihawk likes wine, so I guess that makes sense. S Shark likes mozuku, which is seaweed on vinegar, and he likes fruits. And S Bear likes honey and salmon, like a bear, I guess. That's funny. And then it lists all their voice actors. So this is kind of spicy. Also, this is really interesting. There is the agenda that potentially Mihawk and Boa could be siblings, and them having their Seraphim having the same blood type here is just kind of something that made me like think to that agenda, and I'm like, hey, maybe they're onto something, you know.
So to me,
man.
it's crazy that they didn't put Bonnie's level on there.
That they didn't put what?
Bonnie's level of the authority command.
Well, Bonnie could only
true.
boss around one of them, not all of them. Just as Bear. So I could see why they didn't put it on there, but yeah, that is interesting. I think it also reminds me that like Centimaru has the higher authority than just any scrub with a chip, and Centimaru is still around. They survived, so like that's also something to remember that might potentially be important.
Centimaru
But-
for
Yeah, no,
final
it's,
Yes, let's go.
I know it's quite interesting, and especially since you didn't get to that one. The next viewer card, I would like to go to Stussy because I feel like there might be more to Stussy with her viewer card compared to the Seraphims. Especially the blood type. I find it very interesting. How he connected the blood type to the hosts.
Well, with Jinbei, we know that Jinbei had the same blood type as Luffy, which has been confirmed before, and S Shark has that same blood type as well. So yeah, there is a direct correlation from what we can gather. But yeah, we can move on to Stussy. This is probably my second most anticipated of the bunch, because how can you beat Blackbeard? But like this is huge. This is insane, actually. Ever since the beginning of Egghead, when we got like teased at some of these details. We have Epithet is Queen of the Pleasure District. Pause. Her devil fruit, which is finally confirmed, which I can cross off of my Viva card or of my bingo card, is the Bato no Mi, just the plain bat fruit, no fancy model, no mythical, no nothing. It's just the bat fruit. She is confirmed to have armament and observation hockey. Her lineage just says clone, she's Mad's first ever successful clone, which was information that we had before. Gender female, birthday is April 24th, and we actually get a confirmed age from her, which is huge.
Yeah.
Age 36. We'll cook a little bit more on that in a minute. Height is 179 centimeters. Favorite food and drink is apple pie. She dislikes junk food. Her hobby is collecting beauty cosmetic products. Her animal theme is a bat, obviously. Her place of origins is Mad's research ship. This is wild, for a couple of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
What are you thinking, Kube?
It's okay. I'm saying this now. The fact that it wasn't the blood type, it was the same. Her food is shared. I'm wondering if she has a lot of Vegapunk in her DNA. But my thing is, and I'm saying it now, she's the same age as Frankie, so both 36. Would it be a big coincidence that laboratory, that Mad's laboratory that built her, that made her, is the same ship that came to Frankie when he was a child?
That's kind of crazy.
Looks just like this, a similar ship to Dufeld. When I saw the age and the fact that she was born in a lab, I said, this could explain why that ship seems to be prepared for those kind of stuff. What if Stussy was created 10 years before that? Or 8 years? I think it was 15 years before that. It was abandoned, So I'm wondering if that's the same ship.
Possible.
Yeah. But yeah, do you guys think that part of her DNA is just Vegapunk? Like he made someone else and his DNA? The fact that all of the other Seraphims, they always make connection back to their host, and there it says, oh, she loves apple pie, just like Vegapunk.
I don't know. I think that might just be there's the nature versus nurture, argument there. It could just be because she held him in such high regard, because with it saying that she's the first successful clone, I don't know if they would add in a chemical X, an X factor type of situation, and maybe that's how they accomplished a successful clone. But to me, the first ever successful clone means that she's a legitimate genetic clone of Miss Buckingham Stussy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it would say something else. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I just think that's just because she sees him as a father figure. Which could give a little bit of credence to there's a theory that Weevil is an unsuccessful clone. And if he were to see somebody falsely as a father figure that isn't actually their genetic father, that could be interesting as well. That's a theory that's been going around for a really, really long time already.
And Weevil is 35 years from that SBS. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this is sick. I like it. We finally get a confirmed age of her. We finally get her devil fruit reveal. And I'm always down for a new devil fruit reveal. I'd love it when this happens. When we got all of the Blackbeard Pirates fruit reveals and then the Vice Admiral's fruit reveals and stuff all back to back. I was eating. I love that stretch of chapters.
So I have a question, right? So we know that Vegapunk recreated the Shishibukai, right? Seraphim based on the Shishibukai, right? And it's something that Parvision dropped a couple of years ago, where he said if you look every time the Shishibukai are being contacted by the Marines, they always receive a bat that comes to them. Now, this is my question. We always, his whole thing is the world government used bats, right, as a means for instead of the regular birds. But then it made me think of the Shishibukai answers to Sengoku. 3 time skip, right? So I'm wondering if every time we saw those bad stuff, it wasn't the Gorosei contacted them, but it was Vegapunk's faction, sending them letters for some reason, Like it was Stussy. Stussy because we saw Big News Morgan being a bird, he seems to be talking to those birds. Now I'm wondering if the bats that we kept seeing was not actually the world government, but it was Stussy sending in messages.
So you think that bat that dropped off the Warlord announcement to Buggy stole his blood, and we're gonna get the newest Seraphim S Clown.
No. That's
my
I'm not saying
goodness.
all of this happened on the same thing. I'm just saying that it's Tussie's
He's
way of
clowning.
communicating, like because
Yeah,
she could also.
I get you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm correlating.
Okay, I wanted
what
to be
he
sure
said
because it
to
came
what
out.
happened.
Yeah, because you put everything in one go. So I'm not saying all of it in one go, but like one of those stuff. But what if Stussy uses those bats? And we always assume it was the Gorosei, all of them. Like it could have been Sengoku, but he was using another way. You know, because Sengoku is such an onion as a fleet admiral.
It's interesting
just a
because
thought.
like what I was saying earlier about Kuzan is also applicable here because we see that Vegapunk was not so morally gray as we were thinking and had connections to even like Shaka called Dragon and said I'm gonna be deceased soon, like so it was like it's really interesting because Stussy holds him in such high regard. Not only is she a member of the underground, like the underworld, she's called one of the emperors of the underworld. She is also a member of like the most elite operatives of the world government outside of probably the Holy Knights. Like this is this is a separate entity than the Marines entirely that operates outside of the Navy. This is Cypher Pole 0. And she's also like aligned with like a Yonko crew in a sense now, like because she aided the straw. Like this is crazy. This one character has like different toes in like 5 different factions at least. Like that's crazy. Like I love it. I love it. She's been one of my most interesting characters for a while.
Yeah. And with at one point what Dill said something, it kind of makes me think the fact that she has the bat fruit. We don't know how Vegapunk got the blood. What if Stussy had a hand into it? You know, getting the sample for him. Because we've seen like Delph, like just regular Delph food do crazy stuff. Like, what if the bat fruit can take certain blood? You know.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That would be along the lines of what it can do. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to like. It doesn't have a way to like amalgamate itself with it, but just have a way to draw the blood and to store it, which is something that could happen. And for all we know, it could have just been Stussy in her bat form that was personally delivering out the warlord notifications.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know how much I want to read into that, but it is really interesting because I didn't even remember that until you brought it up. Like, that Par said that a while ago. I literally didn't even remember that.
The only time we saw it was Buggy's warlord announcement was whenever the bat showed up.
And there was also that moment in Swallow Park where Moria was reading a letter and there's a bat nearby him. But it's a perfect camouflage, that's what Parvision said, because of his ability to use with the shadows to create bats. But he said, what if that was a misdirection? It was an actual bat giving him the letter. And then with Buggy, we also have that same bat being there, giving him a letter.
It is interesting. But
the style of distracting us.
The next one is also something I didn't think we would get. But we got a dual Viva card entry next. It is not only the Viva card of Robert Lucci, it is also the Viva card of Hattori, the pigeon. So this is crazy because we got some details for both of them.
A little bit of a spoiler for it. Like, I'm not gonna say what it actually is. I love his hobby. His occupation, if he wasn't what he was, it's so funny to me.
Hell yeah. So I'll get through this pretty quickly because I know this is going to be a pretty fun one to talk about. Rob Lucci's epithet is the Massacre Weapon, which is such a sick nickname. That's so cool. Devil Fruit is the Neko no Mi model leopard, or the Cat Fruit model leopard. He has both armament and observation hockey. He is an affiliate. He's a former CP9 agent. He is a current Aegis 0, Cypherpole 0 agent. And his gender is male, as is Hattori. He's also a male. This is where we start to get details about Hattori as well. Lucci's birthday is June 2nd, and Hattori the pigeon's birthday is August 10th. And that'll be marked on Dill's calendar forever from now on, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and I'm sad I didn't know it before his birthday this year.
Oh, hey, there's always next year. Rob Lucci is 30 years old and Hattori is 20 years old. So they've been friends for a while, we're assuming. Rob Lucci is 212 centimeters tall, well, Hattori, the pigeon, is 25 centimeters tall. This is a cute little guy. Rob Lucci is a Gemini and Hattori is a Leo. Lucci's flower theme is a Rudbeckia, which is a cool name, but I don't know the flower off the top of my head.
It's also I looked it up. The most common and known other name for it is a coneflower, the yellow and black flower. Never seen it before.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. It's like a trumpet type of thing or whatever.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, and the other name is coneflower, which is most commonly known as.
So Rob Lucci's occupation, if not an intelligent agent, is a pigeon breeder. And his liked island season is winter in a winter island. His place of origin is Guanho on Grand Line. So this is really interesting. For a couple reasons. I believe that with this information, we can probably figure out that Lafitte is in fact not Hattori. Unfortunately, because I did love the agenda, but
still 20 years old. 20 years old is a crazy age for a pigeon.
Yeah.
Birds can live pretty long. Like I think there's a bird that can live to be like almost 40 years or something.
Yeah, but in the line of work of cipher pole,
yeah, you're right.
This bird's got to have some crazy feats.
Just on the feet, right?
Okay,
Just
yeah,
like Lafitte, yes.
Wild. It's cool that we got Lafitte. I'm sorry. It's cool that we got Hattori's birthday, but you got me tripping. I think that getting his like height and like stuff like that was like super cool. We didn't get like Hattori's favorite food or anything like that, which is like unfortunate. But I think it's really interesting that Lucci's place of origin was Guanho because I don't know. I remember
cipher pole training site.
Yeah, so he was born
there. It was wild.
Yeah, like so we have seen other cipher pole agents that were kind of like legacied in, like Khalifa and Alufa and someone else. I don't remember.
Well, who's who as well.
Okay, perfect. There you go. So this is like clearly this kind of tells me that like maybe two cipher pole agents like. Maybe instructors, because that's where the cipher pole agents are trained to become like official operatives and stuff like that. So maybe it's like two cipher pole instructors fell in love and had a baby, and that's this dude, and he was just born to be like the massacre weapon, and he's literally been like a Zoldyck, like he's just been honed from literally being a baby to being just a massacre machine, you know.
It's like think of Hannibal, the fact that he was 12, 13 years old as a prison guard and impaled down when Shiki showed up, or escaped. He was a young prison guard, a kid, a preteen. So I was like, yeah, some of those people seems to be literally having babies and training them for a certain profession,
Yeah, it's really interesting, and
dude, it feels like
it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say another word for it. It feels like they're almost bred. You know what I mean? Bred, in a way. Which is a messed up thing to say about a person. That's a good one.
But yeah, this was kind of hype. This was really interesting, and I don't think I there were a few people who were thinking that Lucci had Conqueror's Haki because of some lightning that was flying off when he struck with Gear 5. But yeah, this confirms that no, like there's so few people. Like I think we have like 19-ish confirmed Conqueror's Haki users. So I didn't think we were really gonna get many more confirmations in any of these Beaver cards. But I remember people making the argument back when the chapter first dropped.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's time for, after what we saw in Egghead, it's time to change the Rob Luce's nickname because it doesn't fit the character. Even though he must be strong, he wasn't a massacre weapon. He was
Wild.
massacred. He was massacred, sure, but he wasn't a massacre weapon.
Look how they massacred his boy.
Yeah, I don't know about that theory, Kush Daddy. Like, I've heard all about it, but I don't know about that theory. But next up, and this is some of the sickest art. My goodness, this is crazy. But we get the GOAT, a man who just recently entered into my top 3 favorite characters with the most recent arc. We get Bartholomew Kuma, who has one of the sickest epithets. He's known as the Tyrant. He's known as a Pacifista, and he is known as simply Hero. I love that.
Yeah.
He has the Nikyu no Mi, the pawpaw fruit, just like S-Bear, but this is the real one, the real deal, no green blood. He is confirmed to have armament hockey and observation hockey. His genus is confirmed to be Buccaneer race, Pacifista, former royalty. His affiliations are former intern, because YouTube doesn't like that word, former officer of the Revolutionary Army, former king of Sorbet Kingdom, and former one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Gender male, birthday February 9th, age 47. Height is taller than Whitebeard at 689 centimeters. It's crazy. His favorite food / drink is honey and salmon, just like S-Bear. His disliked food is lobster. That's kind of an L take, I'm not gonna lie. His hobby is traveling, daydreaming, fantasizing, and writing letters. His animal theme is, gee, I wonder. It's bear. And he is from the South Blue Sorbet Kingdom, and his former bounty was 296 million, which is horrendously low for somebody of his caliber, I would say. This guy was a menace. This guy was an absolute unit, is an absolute unit. I think this is pretty interesting, us getting more details on him. I don't think it's really anything we didn't already know. Unless I'm wrong. Like, hold on, let me double check.
No, because of
the
the arc.
Food stuff.
Yeah.
Just the food stuff, yeah.
Actually, we
But
had no
also-
idea his animal theme was a bear. How would we have ever put that together?
I mean,
It could have been anything.
it's kind of in the name.
It could have been anything.
Kuma.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this.
Bartholomew the bear. Oh,
If other than the foods part, if anyone is shocked by Kuma's Viva card, they should reread Egghead. Because there was
Yeah.
well detailed about Kuma's life.
Yeah, I
To
think
be
the most
still having
shocking
question.
reveal here is that Mans doesn't like lobster. That's kind of crazy. Lobster's great. I love
Wait,
it.
so-
Like,
it just had hero on his epithets.
so tyrant, comma, pacifista, comma, hero.
Well, because he was known as the hero of God Valley as well as the Hands of Liberation.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, so I think it's just it's so like there's depth to all 3 of these words. Tyrant, pacifista, and hero. So I think that's that's
also,
like
yeah,
that's
point of
so
view.
sick.
Yeah, point of view, Some people called him a tyrant, some people called him a pacifista, like Vegapunk called him that, a pacifist, and then you have the Rev, maybe we're the one to revert him as a hero. So yeah, getting all
Yeah.
the different perspective. how
And
they
like
see it.
in the Kuma flashback, whenever the before the pacifistas were properly named, when we saw like what pacifista actually mean, and like context clues, we know what it means. We knew what it meant before, but like why Vegapunk chose that name, that shit hits. It's so good.
I won't lie, I'm a bit sad that they didn't put the one-man revolution. That was a sick
Oh, yeah,
nickname
that
to
would
give
have
him.
been
Like,
sick too.
that's such a sick nickname, the one-man revolution.
Yeah, this next one is very closely tied to Kuma, and it's a pretty short entry. No pun intended, but we get Connie. who is known as Queen Dowager in previous, but it doesn't mention that at all here. I don't think, but it just says Connie, who is royalty, gender female. Birthday is May 21st. Age was 76 or is 76. I don't know. Height is 73 centimeters, which is adorable. That is so cute. She is a Gemini with blood type XF. Place of origin is West Blue Sorbet Kingdom.
South Blue.
Is that it says West Blue on this Viva card. Is that a typo?
Yeah, it's a typo because the one
That's
I'm looking
crazy.
from Arthur is South. Anyways, we see Sorbet Kingdoms in the South Blue, regardless.
Yeah. That's like crazy. I just read what was right in front of me, but yeah, that didn't sound.
Yeah.
right.
I found it very weird that you said West Blue of all places. Okay.
Her favorite food / drink is strawberry sherbet, aka sorbet. In a different dialect. And it says she made too many pizzas and now she's fed up with it, which is funny because Bonnie's favorite is pizza. So
yeah,
this is cute. I love it. She's 73 centimeters tall. Y'all, that is crazy. That is actually insane.
You know what's the craziest thing?
One Piece heights, that is closer to a tempata than it is to a normal person.
So you want to hear the funniest thing? She is 2 years younger than Garp. This is the craziest part. He's
That is
78.
interesting.
Yeah. I won't lie. I would love to see Connie in a flashback because of her age, she could be a queen at the time of the Roger Pirates era. Roger is 77. So.
And there is some significance with the Roger Pirates in the South Blue as well.
Yeah.
Not specifically sorbet, but like Batteria. So it could be interesting for sure. Yeah, this is just adorable. Homegirl is like barely over 2 feet tall. Like that's so cute.
Bro, Will in the chat. Kuma's other title is Daddy.
That's sweet, but it's also kind of pause. You know what I mean? And not like
Yeah.
pause, like not like pause,
Kuma
like
pause.
paw. Yeah, Next up, we have the ultimate defense. Like we have Sentimaru, somebody who again I can't help but think is still gonna play some sort of a role because of the hierarchy and the way that got spelled out to us at the beginning of the arc and now again in these Viva cards. They're confirmed to have armament hockey and observation hockey. They were Vegapunk's bodyguard. And they were specifically Marine HQ Science Unit Captain. Gender male, age 34. Height is 279 centimeters. Favorite food / drink is onigiri and baked sweet potato based. I love me some baked sweet potato. Dislike food is bear meat hot pot, which is extremely specific. Place of origin is the Grant Line, Kintokiyama, Mount Kintoki, which is crazy. I don't know if we've heard of that before. And their cross guild bounty would be. It says that they're a captain here of the science unit, but their cross guild bounty is on par with, I believe, a rear admiral, which would be 500 million. So that's pretty cool. Maybe they're like a special case.
Yeah. I mean, the science unit is a special faction of the Marines. So.
For sure. And like with them having that spot on the hierarchy as well.
Yeah.
I would say.
That's what I was going to attribute it and place it like a liken to, is that the knowledge that Sentimaru would have, it makes them more valuable than just a normal captain or a rear admiral.
The more I think about it, because if that's the case, which most likely is the case, is I want to know where Crocodile gets all that information too. To know, which ones who are captains to give a higher bounty is like quite interesting. And then it's Crocodile's information. It's so vast.
They're warlords.
Yeah, in the last 2 years.
Well, Sentimaru was on the front lines with pacifistas and commanding them alongside the likes of Mihawk at the War of the Best, where Crocodile was on the opposite side because he was an escapee. So I think it would have actually probably been Mihawk who knew.
Yeah, true, Mihawk. So he has a
because like they
his
were
former
literally
warlord.
fighting on the same side together. Yeah, it's really interesting. And like disliking bear meat hot pot is one of the most specific things ever. Like, I mean, I don't know if I don't know how much hot pot has bear meat in it, but I'd assume it's not a lot, you know.
Yeah. But I won't lie. The fact that his animal will be a tiger. Remember when Oda said like this year will be the year of the tiger? Well, it was a year for tomorrow, so we did get
So
that.
that was a lie.
Bro. Yeah, I remember hearing about his backstory that he grew up like cutting logs and stuff like that, and then and he's based off of like a figure in like almost like a Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan type of figure in Japanese folklore. So like this is interesting. I think that's where we heard about the Kintokiyama like mountain before or whatever. I don't think it's new information. I don't think we really got much pertinent information here, but like still interesting to see. And I think that again, I just can't help but think that Sentimaru is probably still going to come up in the future because of that whole hierarchy thing. But unless my computer is frozen, I think that's the last of the Viva cards.
Yeah, the other ones, but we already have enough of it. Is the one we didn't talk about is the different satellites of the Vegapunks,
Oh yeah,
which yeah.
I forgot that we got that as well.
Yeah, I don't have those in front of me. If one of y'all wants to read them off, we can talk about
Wait.
those for a bit.
Wait, let me get on X then.
I dropped them in a chat earlier. They're in the part 2 section or continued section. The epithet of one Sir Vegapunk is the man with the best brain in the world. His dome fruit is the tongue twister itself, the no me, no me, no me. The brain fruit. His affiliations are the Laboratory for Peace, the MADS. He was I think that's supposed to be MADS chief.
Yeah.
SSG, Marine Special Science Group, team leader. Or is that chief of SSG?
No, there's a comma. Yeah, it would be MADS chief and then SSG Marine Special Science Group team leader.
Okay. Yeah. Gender is male. Birthday is August 9th, so we just recently had one. Age 65. Interesting. Height 314 centimeters. I am only assuming that is before he chopped out his own brain.
Bro, he was pretty tall. He was taller than Luffy because he has some really long legs. Because it would be massive if it was like, I don't know.
He's like Wapol in Orochi. They look small because of the people around them, but they're massive.
Yeah, he's pretty tall even without his big old dome. I think he would be massive with his dome, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. His zodiac sign is a Leo. His blood type is S, and if you're telling me that there was no S-type blood on Egghead, you're lying.
Oh man, I mean both S. We just talked about it. Both S Hawk and S Snake have S. Like, I mean, they take. I don't think that's is that the oldie blood they have in them? I don't know.
We don't know.
Because it was like in the little canisters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it says his place of origin is Karakuri Island, Future Kingdom, Baltimore, which we already knew that. He likes some apple pie, coffee, macaroni, spaghetti, kind of based.
Yeah.
And then it shows his Japanese voice actors.
We also, I don't know if you also have that. We also have the timeline of Vegapunk's life in bullet points. So 39 years ago, he is convened as one of the founding scientists of MADS, the Laboratory of Peace. 36 years ago, his discovery of the bloodline elements is published in the When. 26 years ago, he's arrested by the world government, who perceives the research as dangerous, and MADS is bought out. That's the expression they use, bought out. 4 years ago, Punk Azard is involved in a great explosion, moves his laboratory to Egghead. 3 years ago, cuts his head and creates Punk Records. 2 years ago, creates clones of himself, giving birth to the 6th satellite. And so this year started a worldwide transmission after Kizaru sent him into a cardiac arrest. Yeah. The only part that was very interesting is Matt is bought out, which I found very interesting.
I mean, they were, in a sense. Like, Vegapunk was arrested a few times.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
to like. I believe the word they used before was like assimilated or whatever.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But next up, we also get brief details on each of the satellites. Rest in peace to the goats, some of them. We got Vegapunk 01, aka Shaka. He is obviously a Vegapunk satellite, male, birthday March 22nd. Looks like a 30-year-old man born 2 years ago. Height is 220 centimeters. Zodiac sign is Aries. Blood type is S. Place of origin is Egghead in the Grand Line, obviously. Liked food / drink is milk porridge. I think that's supposed to be one thing. It's not milk / porridge, right? It's like it's just one thing. Like a
Yeah, it's one thing. Yeah.
interesting. And then we get Lilith. Female with the same birthday, March 22nd. She looks like a 24-year-old, but was born 2 years ago. Height is 204 centimeters. Sign Aries, just like all of the ones that are born on March 22nd, which I think is all of them, would be in Aries as well. They all have blood type S, and they're all confirmed to be Vegapunk satellites. Go figure. All of them have the place of origin at Egghead Island, but her favorite food is deviled chicken steak, which is crazy. I've never heard of that worded that way. Then we get Edison, same genus, Vegapunk satellite, gender male, same birthday, same zodiac sign. Height is 100 centimeters, so just a little taller than Connie. Age looks like an 18-year-old, but they were born 2 years ago. Blood type still S, still born at Egghead. Edison's favorite food is pie and coffee. But fundamental meals are entrusted to York. So that's like the same food and drink that Stella like has as their favorites as well. It just doesn't specify apple pie. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And the number 4 is Pythagoras. Male, born March 22nd. Looks like a 26-year-old, but was born 2 years ago. 341 centimeters, which I think is the tallest, even taller than Stella, right?
No.
Same zodiac sign, same close. Same body type, same blood type, I'm sorry, same birthplace. Favorite food drink is vegetable juice, but fundamental drink meals are entrusted to York. This guy's like a legitimate robot. I don't even know where that would go. But then we get Atlas, who's female, same birthday. Looks like a 16-year-old, which that's debatable. Born 2 years ago. Height is 729 centimeters.
That's what I was saying, no. She's
which
twice
is
as tall
crazy.
as Pythagoras.
Yeah, same zodiac sign, blood type, and birthplace. Favorite food or drink is rice curry, kind of based. Yeah. And then lastly, and absolutely leastly, we have York, who looks like a 16-year-old, also extremely debatable. Born 2 years ago. Height is 482 centimeters, which is huge. Same zodiac, same blood type, same birthplace. Favorite food or drink is a hamburger, which is very lazy.
So this is my thing, right? About the satellites. Do you guys think that they're made of since they're a version of Vegapunk, they're Vegapunk at a specific time in his life? Because the ages does. Yeah, it's like it's so random. Well, 2 of them are the same age, but it's like you can't even make a pattern on why those specific ages for the other ones. So yeah.
16 is the youngest, right?
Yeah, both Lilith and York are the youngest. They're both 16.
It could be
no.
No,
It's who else? No, it's Atlas
like
and
an 8-year-old or something. No, Atlas. Yeah, Atlas and York are 16 or whatever. Is Pythagoras like younger or not?
He's 18.
Not Pythagoras. Edison.
Edison's 2 years older. He's 18.
Pythagoras is 26.
26.
Okay, yeah. So maybe I don't know because they were all born 2 years ago, so this would have been pre-time skip. So Kuma potentially could have still had some like sentience. It could have been that like Kuma pulled some memories out
Yeah.
before. Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're going for. Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
So
I was just gonna say it would fit because he met Kuma at least a year or 2 years before even the Straw Hats met up together. So he had already access to that fruit. Yeah, sorry, Dill, you were gonna say?
No, so I was gonna say completely unrelated, but I'm gonna need all of y'all miscreants of the internet to stop with what you're doing because they are 16.
They're 2 actually, but yeah,
Yeah,
I get what you're
that,
saying.
that as well.
They're 2, brother. But yeah, this is wild. I like that. Like, you know, obviously, a lot of this information it crosses over between them. You know, as far as their blood type, age, birthday, and stuff like that. So we know that they were all born on the same day, and
Yeah.
but like them having their own favorites and preferences and stuff. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's the little details, you know, that we didn't need, but it's so cool that we had them. That's why I love like Oda and this tertiary kind of content and stuff like that. It gives you like new insight because I kind of feel like from this information that Edison is the closest to the Stella in like the way that he thinks, critically, and like analytically, because he is the same favorite food and drink, pie and coffee, you know, just like Stella.
Which
So,
is
like,
crazy whenever we think about their real world influences. Because Edison and Tesla.
yeah, no, you're right. But Oda does like to do inversions as well as parallels. So who knows, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting though. There's so little to go off of from these, but it's like it's still something.
Yeah. That's the one thing that caught my eye. For all those viewer cards, I said, ooh, they were all created the same day, but they were all given different ages. And it would have been at a time where he already met Bonnie and Kuma. One has the ability to alter ages, and one has the ability to, you know, take certain part of your memories, certain part of yourself outside. So, but yeah, I think we did we went through everything. So, but yeah, it was there were some W's. We ate well. Oda is cooking. I mean, those river cards, data book, all of it, what you would call it, they were good.
Hell yeah. I live for this kind of stuff. Like and as somebody who like in One Piece D&D, I like writing my own little Viva cards, and I like writing my own little like newspaper articles and stuff like that. So getting some of this like stuff about the history, stuff that happened a while back, and like I like the little flavor texts as well. And I love the SBS vibes because I mean, we're having our own SBS over on my channel on Tuesday for group 2. Come by, say what's up in the chat, ask the crew as well as myself any questions about the campaign, about their characters, about any NPCs or anything you'd like. It's going to be a pretty good time. So that was my segue into me plugging that. Anyone else have anything they want to plug before we head out?
Well, you know, I'm gonna let you plug all the stuff because I know you're better at me at that.
Yeah, I don't know your stuff though, so I can plug my stuff. But come check out Dire Regulus's channel tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST, where we will be going live with Group 3 because Group 3 clears. We are just now getting into the Sky Island territory, so my character's homeland. As Vex said, check us out on Tuesday as always. You know, Group 2, we solo. We got an SBS session this week. Hype. Bring some questions. Hopefully get ready for some responses. Some you may not like to hear, but you're going to have to hear them if you ask those questions. Also, check us out here on the Eternal Dawn channel. Sunday at 11 p.m. at 11 a.m. EST. Sorry, misspoke there. We don't go that late. Sunday. Yeah, at 11 a.m. EST, where we'll be going live with a brand new One Piece D&D group, the Kev Dawn, as you can
Yeah.
say, the Dawn of
Work in
Kev.
progress. Name is a work in progress, but yeah, I'm so hyped for it. I can finally get to be a player again. It's been a minute. I got to be a player over on SSJ Cody's Twitch channel earlier in the week. We've been on hiatus. That's group Cody 8 this D&D, and that was a lot of fun, but I'm ready for more. I cannot wait. Also want to major shout out to the captain, who is attending to his many children right now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the captain of the Kev Dawn.
No. To the captain of the crew here, the Eternal Dawn, Straw Hat Lucas. He has a Rambling Addiction coming out next week that's supposed to be about Hunter x Hunter. I'm so hype. He has Rambling Addictions coming out all the time. You should definitely check him out. It's a wonderful series. He also has Sending Saturday Night Sending, however you pronounce the word, where he's reading 20th Century Boys, the manga. So definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in. And yeah, he's also a part of Group 2, who solos over on my channel, and he's also going to be a part of the new Eternal Dawn One Piece D&D group this Sunday morning. So come see us then. Lots of hype. Yeah, lots of goats, lots of hype, lots of great information. Thank you all for being in the chat. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys like the stream. And check out all the wonderful links in the description. Join the Discord so you can be a part of this conversation. Even when we're not on stream, we're always cooking in the Discord. Yeah, Cube, got anything else you want to say, or do you want to send us off?
I mean, guys, we'll all see you at the next sunrise.